Welcome to another episode of the Opinions Podcast. I'm Bobby B with the opinions you want to hear, and I'm here with my main man.
What it do, man? This Los Hurt. In my humble opinion, what's going down? We got us a special one today, man. This is something, different than we never did on the show. And, this is a story of perseverance, resilience, courage. She's one of the biggest gangsters I know, you know what I'm saying? And I mean that in a good way, for sure. It's my partner since way back. I'm going to let her, talk her talk. We got none other than Corporate Drive's finest, my partner Sarita.
Hey
My
y'all.
partner Sarita, man. What's going down, baby?
Nothing up here found.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said I wasn't gonna do no more media publications, but you found, so
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had to come through.
I appreciate
I
that.
I, I normally just do stuff behind the scenes, but
Yeah. Well, let's get into
we
that.
got back.
Tell him.
We got back to fourth grade, Miss Linda class, the Chambers Elementary.
Yeah, yeah. Miss Linda, one
We
of the
got
coolest teachers
separated in
you had,
high
huh?
school.
That's one of
Yeah,
my
we got
favorite teachers.
separated in high school.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on. So you stayed on corporate and y'all went to Kilo?
They so my eighth grade year, they divided our little side street. So the kids across the street in them apartments, they continued to go to AMS. Our side of the street, the front part of corporate, we got switched to Kilo, and so that's how. Cause we went to Owens Intermediate in what day last was sixth grade,
Yeah,
sixth
sixth
grade,
grade. Yeah.
and then seventh grade he went to Kilo and I went to AMS. Then we got shipped off to Kilo the next year for eighth grade.
Hey,
Then he wound up going to Elsick, and I went to Hastings.
in fifth grade, did you go to Alley?
Yeah,
That's what.
remember?
Okay, yeah. Chambers, Alley, and Owens,
Your
and then
classroom was on the other side of mine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This my dog, man, from way back. Yeah, yeah. So
Los
what?
was one of them,
Yeah,
Los was one of them old nerdy ass dudes in elementary, man, with his glasses and his books and shit.
Nah, he was all about basketball.
yeah.
Like that nigga, I used to call him the disposal because we'd be at lunch. He would eat his lunch, your lunch, they lunch. Like you got something left on your plate. Like this, basketball, food, and girls.
Yeah. True
Okay,
story. True
okay.
story. Hey, so what apartments? Tell the people what apartments you grew up in on corporate.
Winfield, 7700 corporate drive.
Yeah, yeah. So you grew up with
Um,
guys like Ike, Chuck, Rossi,
I
and
didn't
them.
grow up with Ike. He came over by seventh, eighth grade. He stayed like diagonal like this.
Okay.
So my house was up here. I would have to walk down the stairs, and his house was down there. Then Chucky and Rossi and them, they stayed in the same area, but down the hallway. Then we had James. Oh, what's James' last name? He got a brother. He got a brother named Daniel. I can't think of their last name, but you know what I'm talking
I know
about,
exactly what
Carlos?
you're talking about. Yep, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, then you had Waterstone across the street, and there's some more people over there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Corporate was live, boy. Corporate was live, man. Yeah. We moving on.
yeah. It's
We moving on. We moving right along. We moving right along. Yeah. Go ahead, Bobby B. What you got for?
No, well, real quick, you stayed on corporate when you was at Hastings too? Like corporate on the hood, you
we
stayed on
moved
Alief?
we moved on corporate in 1988. It was not nowhere near what it turned into. It turned into us being on the back of the Southwest shirt. You
Right.
know, if your street was on the back of that shirt, you was official.
Yeah, yeah. You was
Right.
official.
Me and Rose had matching shirts, but it turned into that. But when we moved over there in '88, it was straight. And then it just went like the early '90s, mid '90s. It just went down. And we used my mama. My mama worked at a law firm, but my brother had a bunch of health problems. So as a mother, she like, do I go get this house I want, or do I gotta contribute my funds to support my son's health problems? So that's why we ended up staying there. But we stayed over there. I stayed over there 1988. I moved out in 2002 when I uh what in May, like 2 months before my 19th birthday, I moved out. I ain't moved to nowhere no better. I moved to Victoria Park behind Oceans, but on the third floor. But it was mine though.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
So I had my son. He's 24 now, and him. You know how hard it is to carry a car seat, a stroller, a backpack, and a diaper bag on Metro. We riding the bus to TSU. He coming to class with me.
Mm, yeah,
The grind ain't
Right,
never stop.
yeah.
right,
That's
man.
life. That's life.
So, did you end up finishing at CSU?
No, I didn't. But I wound up getting associates from in criminal justice, like lifestyle life. And
Right,
I
right.
made it to my junior year. I was pregnant with my daughter, so I almost made it. But some shit happened with her dad where I wasn't able to finish, and I never went back because my life started taking twists and turns I never thought they would take. So I was making it without a degree. You know what I'm saying? So the money I was making, I would have been making the same money with that degree. So I never thought, to go back and finish it.
Gotcha. So you say life start life in a little bit. What kind of jobs you start working at this time? You say some stuff happened with your baby daddy. When it up, what kind of jobs you was working during this time when you was going through that or whatnot.
When I got my apartment, like I was working part time at HEB, right? Well, when I moved there, I was working at Target, but I got fired for fighting. So I got fired for fighting. I got fired on my day off.
Hell no.
They called me and was like, "Nah."
You can't come back.
Then tried to hold me and say, "We gonna mail you your check." I said, "Nah, I'll stand outside the front door. Somebody gonna bring my check."
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying? So after that, I started working at HEB. Then, like, I was in English class one day. One of the football players, "Hey, what you think about writing my paper?" I said, "Nigga, I got enough shit going on. I got a kid. What you talking about writing your paper?" He's like, "Man, I'm flunking and I can't play." He was like, "Please." Like, that was my first paper I sold. That shit turned very lucrative. I was making more selling papers than I was at HEB. I was selling, I told him, "Don't tell nobody." He did. I was like, so I was
That ended
writing
up working
papers.
out in your favor though, huh?
Yeah, I was charging, this is in 2002, I started. The minimum was 200 a paper. They was willing to pay that shit because if I'm writing your paper, I can't write the way I would write because that's gonna tip the teacher off.
Right.
Cause she gonna look at your past papers and be like, this don't look like you wrote it. So now I gotta study the way you write and just better it. So now to my time, and then we didn't have Google back then. If I had to write a paper that I had to go to the library and research, the price went up because I got to do this on the bus. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it started at some basic was 200. They was willing to pay it. They was like, "Man, we trying to fuck some hoes. We trying to play football. We trying to play basketball. We
Yeah.
trying to they done join fraternities and stuff. Man, we got something with the bros over here." They was willing to pay that money to me. I
That's the
said,
going
"Thank
rate
you."
though in college though. About 200-300 back then. That's the going rate. Yeah.
I bet your ass would know. You probably
Nah,
paid
nah.
for a lot of paper, your dumb ass.
You had somebody write your papers low.
Now, I should have, but I wasn't paying nobody 300 for shit. You know what I'm saying? That's too much.
But before that, I was like, "Damn, I wish I could braid hair." Because back then everybody had the braids. The whole football team hair was braided. Then when track season started, the girls started getting their hair braided. But I never thought about the writing papers. He just, he was just nudging me. "Hey, what you think?" I was like, "I think we gonna get expelled. That's what I think." But he was like, "Man," he was like, "Man, ain't nobody about to tell on you. You helping us."
Yeah.
Cause he was like, you make A's all the time in this class, like your papers be A's. I was like, "All right, man, this one time.
Yeah.
Thank you. I pay you what you trying to." They would take it out their refund checks and pay me.
You ain't never get caught, right? Yeah.
No.
It worked there.
I said, "You can't prove I did nothing. Like
Yeah.
I typed everything. I ain't write nothing. It was all nice and neat and everything. Put their name on there. They couldn't trace nothing back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could tell them I did it, but I don't know what you're talking about. Here are my papers and here's his papers. Do this look the same?" I already had my alibi ready in case I got caught.
Okay. Okay.
My backup plan was U of H. I was like, "I just go over there."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So back yeah, I started that, but then I wound up getting robbed coming home from work, and my daddy got me a car the next day. So I was like, all right, cool. Now we in action. Because I was working at HEB and I was working at the women's hospital as a phlebotomist. And so, because for yeah, I was working at HEB. I was working full time in Methodist. Then I went to go practice phlebotomy at the women's hospital. At that time, I didn't have no interest in the medical field. I was trying to be in criminal justice, anywhere, forensics, whatever. So I went and I was like, I had an interest in criminology because I was like, I always wondered, like, my favorite show was Criminal Minds and Law and Order SVU. And I always wonder, like, why people do the stuff they do. Like, what's their train of thought? You know what I'm saying? So that's what criminology is. You have to have a psychology degree, but your master's is in criminology. So I was like, all right. I said, I'm gonna go work for TDC because that's basically gonna be my clientele. And I was like, I had sense enough to say, I know if I go straight from school to that office, they're gonna try to run game on me. So let me go work there while I'm in college so I can see what's up. I went and saw a lot.
A lot.
And like I started when I was 21, so I was in shape. That was one child. I had one child, I was in shape. I got my hair done every other week, nails done every other week. I didn't change nothing to work in there because I'm like, they tell you in the academy, don't wear no perfume, don't do this, don't do that. I was like, nigga, I smoke. I can't come in here smelling like, so I, get out the car. I don't need no randoms.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I take my shirt off, throw it in the bag, spritz myself. But it wasn't nothing overpowering. It was like Bath and Body Works. The shit wear out. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was just enough so ain't nobody smell shit. So, I first got there. You too cute to work here. You ain't gonna last 6 months, nigga. Yeah, all right. And then they haze everybody the first month, even the inmates. They call it a heart check. If either one of y'all, I don't think you've been to prison, Los, but I don't know about Bobby. But anybody watch.
I worked at CDC, but I ain't. Yeah, I wasn't on the other side.
So like they want to see how you gonna get out. Like, is you gonna fight? You gonna run? How you gonna work? Like, is you gonna allow the dudes? The women got it worse. The officers. You gonna allow us to jack off? You gonna watch? Are you gonna bring us shit in? You open for relationships? They assessing all that when you start working. I said no to everything. Can I borrow a pen? No. Can I have some gum? No. And get the fuck on. Like,
Right.
fuck out of my face. And they would come with their little boxes on, and I was like, well, go put your clothes on, cause see, you got that hole in the front, and if your dick fall out, we're gonna have a problem. Like,
Yeah.
just all types of stuff was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, and the women that was supposed to train me, they was treating me all shitty and stuff, and I didn't know why. I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what was going on. I said, something ain't right up in here. And I'm like, this one inmate kept saying, hey, Miss A, shut up talking to me. Because in the academy, they tell you if they talking to you more than 15 seconds, they want something. So I'm telling him, after 2 weeks of migraines, I said, okay, just tell me the building schedule. Like, what time everything's supposed to run. He told me the building schedule. He knew how to do the paperwork. He showed me how to. So basically, I was trained by a convict. And I said, why you training me? What you want? He said, man, this shit in here out of control. He was like, I got a life sentence. And these niggas, he was like them lifers and the ones with them long beards, they don't be wanting all that chaos and stuff. He was like, I seen how you handle yourself without knowing nothing. He was like, so if you know something, I know. He was like, you gonna be straight. Never asked me for nothing the whole time I was there. And see, I got an advantage because I had got what they taught us in the academy, my own common sense, and then what he told me. And he finally told me why them bitches was acting funky with me because they was fucking inmates. I was the youngest woman on the shift. So I was like, I ain't coming in here to fuck none of these niggas. The fuck y'all got just because I look the way I look don't mean I'm coming to get nobody. I ain't trying. I got a kid to feed. I was in college and I was like, ain't nobody. They was saying all kind of shit. Oh, the workforce made you come work here, huh? Mm-hmm. Yep. Bitch, you got about 6 kids. Nah, I got 7. Like I would get fly with their ass, and then when they found out I would fight, that's how I made my bonds fighting. I fought my
How they
coworkers. I
find out you
fought
can fight? I mean, how they find out you will fight?
because they sent the biggest nigga on the block one time. We was waiting on to take them to chow. And I ain't know they would stick the little things in the lock to keep the door from locking. So as far as I know, they all locked in the day room. This big ass nigga Brown coming out, he about 6'8" diesel. I said, oh Lord. And you know the hallway, you can't get out. The hall boss gotta open the door and let you out. So I'm stuck in there with this nigga. And
Yeah,
I was like, nigga, what the fuck you want? I'm looking at him like this.
yeah,
He said, hey, what's taking so long? Bitch, what's taking so long with y'all? I say, motherfucker, I don't know. Hey, I'm around here watching y'all stupid ass. I don't know what the fuck going on down the highway, but what you want though? And he was like, what did he say? Don't nobody talk to me like that. I said, well, I ain't nobody. I'm somebody. So, I mean, what happened when people talk to you like that? They usually get through off the run. I was like, well, do what you want to do then, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Nigga, I bite your ankles and your knees. Like, I don't give a fuck. Yup, throw my ass up around here. I said, I believe in God and fate and destiny. If I'm supposed to get fucked up on this particular day, you gonna do it. I'm gonna get in a car crash. Whatever gonna happen, gonna happen. So I ain't finna die on my knees. Like, I ain't, you can mangle me, do whatever, but you gonna do it with me standing on my two. And he just started laughing. He was like, Miss A, you gonna be all right. He was like, I was just fucking with you. And then, like, that was like, if they was like, well, damn, if she stood up to Brown, like, I was like, and then they had a whole discussion one day about what part of Houston they thought I was from. I was like, why y'all naming all these hood areas? Man, you know too much now. I was like, y'all like the niggas that was on my blood. Like,
yeah, yeah.
but I did learn a lot though, and I learned enough to know I ain't want to be no fucking criminologist. Like, you know what did it for me? The pedophiles, the shit with the kids, that shit did it for me. I saw like the injustices going on in there. Like, it started bothering me, and I started asking them niggas like, it don't bother y'all like a majority of this unit is niggas. But I ain't worried about the next nigga. I was like, you ain't gotta worry about the next nigga. But look down the hallway, it looked like a fucking chicken coop in here. It looked like a human factory. Like, I was like, my baby daddy in jail, so I can see from both sides. I was like, my son ain't all right with that. Your kids ain't all right with that. Man, I gotta go out and get it. I said, let me ask you something. You in here, so who going out and getting it? Either your baby mama working multiple jobs, which is leaving your kids to raise themselves, especially the boys. They think they gotta support their mama, and some women turn their little boys into their emotional support system, which is not healthy. You see what I'm saying? I said, or it's probably your partner that done fucked your baby mama or your wife. I done seen that happen before. And I'm like, is the money worth all that? You gotta watch out for the jack boys, the police, and the dolphins. Is it worth that? Like, you coming in and out this motherfucker, like, you taking yourself out the family nucleus. I got deep on their ass. I was like, do y'all know what the 13th Amendment is? Nah, abolishment of slavery. But you know the loophole? They can incarcerate individuals who committed crimes. That was the first wave of mass incarceration. I gave their ass a whole history lesson, how the system wasn't built for them already. And then you go and give them a reason to lock your ass up. Like, it already ain't built for black folks in the first place, and you go get them a reason. And then, like, I learned, like, the child molesters, they get way less time. You can get more time selling dope than child molesters. I was like, why? Like, they come in and out. I never saw a first time offender. They was failing to register and offending again. And I was like, man, don't nobody make them dope fiends go buy no dope. They out here ruining kids' lives. I'm a survivor of incest. My cousin molested me. It was so traumatic. Like, I had repressed memory. So I did not, this happened when I was 5. I did not remember until I was 14. And that ended me a stay in the behavioral hospital for a month. And so I know what that kind of trauma can do to somebody. And I'm like, y'all, like, this ain't. And then the lady said, you can't pick your clientele. I say, so I can't turn these nasty motherfuckers away because I don't want to get in their head. I think they broke and they can't be fixed. I'm talking about I seen these niggas like have photo albums and they cutting little girls and women out of the photo albums and out of the magazines and putting them in the photo albums. Like
Tripping.
I was like, mm. And all this
Was most of them
all the
Caucasian or was they black?
most we had a very small population of white dudes where I was at, but you had some niggas sprinkled in there. And you know that the essays they ain't tolerate that shit. Any gang you come in with, you fell under Mexican mafia or Texas syndicate, and they put them all together. And when you first hit the chain, when you hit the block, they gonna go in the day run and have a paper party. They want to know if you snitching, if you got any crimes against women and old people or children. If any of them things apply, your ass might not wake up the next morning. They gonna tell you, hey, you gotta get the fuck up out of here. You can't stay on this line. If you stay on here longer than 24 hours, we gonna kill you.
What
They
unit
was the
you was
most,
at?
huh?
What unit you was at?
I started at Ramsey 3 and then I went to Darrington. I went to Darrington voluntarily because me and my daughter dad met at Ramsey 3 and our breakup was very bad and very public. So I just wanted to get the fuck. I was like, I don't give a fuck if you send me to the worst unit in the region, because I was in Region 3. So I would
Hold
work
on,
at
you say
Terrell.
your baby daddy, y'all met at he was a correction officer also?
Yeah, my
Okay,
daughter dad.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
After Marquis got his sentence, like I didn't ever think he was gonna get convicted. So her dad was just like a placeholder. I was like, this nigga finna get off and he gonna learn his lesson about trying to be a street nigga. I don't know if I should say this, but you know Marquis wasn't no street nigga. Like he wasn't no bitch. Like you're
No,
not
there ain't
finna
nothing wrong with
come hold
saying that
him.
though. Yeah,
Yeah, he ain't
Monkey was
he
good
wasn't
people.
gonna
He
let
was yeah,
nobody hold him,
good people.
but he wasn't no street nigga. When I found out he was selling dope, I was like, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with this shit. I was like, nah. I had broke up with him because he made me more important than my son, and they ain't sit right with me. He wasn't working. I was like, I had got him a job at HEB. He didn't want to be a bagger. I was like, look, we 19. We ain't supposed to have shit. But we supposed to be building towards some shit. I'm out here busting ass. Like, you could go get a job until you figure out what the fuck you trying to do. Like, the baby need Pampers. And I was like, nah, I'm not finna do all this. Like, if you don't put my baby first, I don't mind coming second to my child. Like, I'm not finna accept this. Mm-mm.
Let me so let me
So,
let me ask you this. So while your first baby father was locked up, you and your daughter's father, y'all met at Ramsey. How long was y'all there together? How long was y'all working there together?
4 years.
4 years? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so during my first year though, that's when Marquis was in the county and he was facing a trial. So I really thought he was gonna get acquitted because I know the circumstances behind his case. But they tried to lock and give him first degree murder. They couldn't prove that because he had a free world lawyer. They dropped it down to third degree murder and gave him 22 years, which is in other states is voluntary manslaughter. I'm asking the inmates at work, hey, I done went to the law library. The ones that I knew was gonna keep it playing. I was like, hey, this the case. What you think? I tell him, hey, you got third degree murder, so a third degree felony, you only get up to 10 years. So how you get 22? I'm asking him the stuff I did know when he got arrested. I'm asking him, did they read you your Miranda rights? Did they do this? Did they do that? You know, I'm asking them questions and stuff. Did they show you a warrant? Did they do this? Like, cause you can get off on a technicality. You see what I'm saying? So I knew
Absolutely.
where his dope was. I went the rest of it. I went. They ain't search his house, but I went and flushed the dope. They ain't find that pistol. Yeah. When I found out he was selling dope, I was like, nah, this ain't it. Like, you gonna get yourself killed. Cause the first thing I noticed, he ain't had no motherfucking strap. I was like, you out here, you ain't got no strap. Like,
Silly,
why
man.
is the why is the dope in your mouth? Like, it was other stuff I noticed.
He
I ain't. In
Yeah,
case he
he
see this,
was
Marquis,
figuring
I'm
it out,
sorry.
man.
Like,
He was figuring it out, man. Give him the benefit of the doubt. But look, so this is what I want to know. Hold on, let me get on your ass for a second. So when he got convicted or sentenced, I mean, rather, when he got sentenced, how long before you start seeing other men or your or the dude, the other guy, whatever? How long
well,
before you
we
start
wasn't
doing that?
together when he got locked up, but I
Oh,
was
yeah, I went,
I was
okay,
hoping
okay.
we wasn't together because remember I told you like I'm not finna put up with that. You selling dope, you ain't got no job, you ain't treating us the way we supposed to be treated. Like you ain't acting like a father. So until you get your shit together, I told him if you love us the way you say you love us, you'll get your shit together. When you get your shit together, or at least I see you trying, then I'll come back. But until then, no. So we wasn't together. He started selling dope, and I absolutely was not gonna put up with that. I'm trying to be a criminologist, but you out here selling dope. Like I'm not finna do that. If that's the road you want to travel, you gonna travel it by your goddamn self. He wasn't on child support or nothing like that. Yeah, yeah, I'm not finna put up with that. So when he got arrested, I was like, I knew something bad was gonna happen. But I said, well, he done got arrested. They gonna let him out and now he done learned his lesson, so he gonna come out and do right. Cause a couple weeks before he got arrested, he had signed up for culinary art school. Cause he's a great cook. He love to cook. So I was like, he gonna go sit down for a minute. He gonna come home and realize, that he need to get his shit together. That did not happen. So during that time when he was locked up, I got cervical cancer. So my daughter dad, like we was just cool. Like we would go out and shit, go out to eat and whatever. And he was taking me to my treatments. And so during that, at the end of them, they said, you ain't gonna be able to have no more kids. And I was like, I ain't know if I wanted more kids, but I at least wanted the choice. And I was like, all right. So we was spending time together, but we was not together. And then like I would say a month before Marquis got convicted, I got pregnant with my daughter. And they kept telling me, well, you're gonna have a miscarriage anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, if I'm gonna have a miscarriage, all right. But he wound up getting convicted, and so I was like, the stigma about chicks with multiple baby daddies. Oh, you was fucking around and shit, not knowing that like Marquis literally took my virginity. So it's like, all right. And then like with him, they told me I couldn't have no more kids. So whatever. So she wound up coming here perfectly fine, and I said, well, I mean, he not a bad dude. He not normally the normal type of dude I would be with, but none of this shit I was doing was working. So I was like, maybe I need something different. So we decided to be together and welcome my daughter. We got a house and welcome my daughter and stuff, but he was different, but he was just a different type of asshole. He was also bad, but just a different type, like the worst type. Emotionally, physically abusive. And my ass was like 23 or something like that, 24. And I'm like, well, if I'm fighting back, it ain't domestic violence, or if he not beating my ass like Ike Turner, it ain't domestic violence. When it very much so was domestic violence. He was very possessive. Like I had long black hair. When I met him, I had like a pixie cut that had blonde in it. Once it grew out and stuff, he was like, "You can't cut your hair no more." I was like, "I always change my hair. That's part of my personality. My hair and my nails and stuff. I change them all the time." Nah, we ain't gonna have none of that. No long nails, short and French manicure, no design. No loud colors. He would check the mileage in my car before I would go to the grocery store. He check the mileage on the grocery store back maybe an hour or two. He would check it when I came back. It got bad to where he was smelling my drawers. Like he was
Hey,
like
man.
inspect. I swear to God, like I just started kicking them hoes out because the first thing I would do is the back of the house. You walk through the back door. That's the washroom area, and it was like a little wash up sink and toilet back there. And then there was a door that led to the living room. So we would strip right there out of our TDC uniforms because it's nasty. So and
Right.
then we would leave our boots right there. None of that shit came into the house. And so we would go straight to the shower. I just started getting ass naked right there. Like them sour motherfuckers over there. The shift started at 5 in the morning. I am sweating by 5:30. So I've been in these hoes 12 hours. Look, I done been in these hoes 12 hours. Go sniff away. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go take me a shower. Like,
Hey man,
this
what's
nigga
wrong
was out of
with it?
control. I started bucking the system. I cut my hair into a bob and I got burgundy highlights. I'm bucking.
Yeah.
I told go to the nail shop. What's the latest design y'all got? Give them to me about this long. Oh, I started getting on his nerves. I say, if I'm gonna be uncomfortable, your ass gonna be uncomfortable. And then it just got too much for me. I was
So hold
turning
on.
into a
You shook up out of that though. You shook up out of that. Didn't you let me ask you this. Did you get married first and then meet the your other kid's father, or you that happened later?
I wouldn't marry that tyrant. No.
Huh?
We just had a house together. Um I stayed because I was like, I just need to finish college and then I can leave. Cause he was I ain't gonna say he wasn't no good provider. He was. He was a good provider. I ain't had no budget, but he came at a cost. You see what I'm saying? Like I was sacrificing shit to be comfortable. And I was like, he would tell me like, ain't nobody gonna want no single mother with two baby daddies. And I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you only accept me and my babies, then fuck you. You won't accept me. But I was like, I'm gonna just be comfortable until I can finish college. So I finished my junior year pregnant with my daughter in May of 2007. I had her in June. I said I'm gonna take a semester off because I breastfed her. And by the time I was ready to go back to school, this nigga changed his schedule. What the fuck you change your schedule for? We can't both pursue our dreams at the same time. Cause I couldn't go to class with the way he changed his schedule. I'm like, nigga, you trying to. First, he was rapping. I said he was ass at rapping. I said, don't join no more freestyle competition because you out here embarrassing me. Like, stop it. You make good beats, so let's start there. Why don't you start selling those? Like, I'm trying to elevate this nigga because I like you. You don't know nothing about the industry. You don't look like you know nothing either, sir. Stop doing that shit. You cannot freestyle. Stop it. So I'm like, why don't you make beats and sell them? I was using like P Diddy as an example. That nigga can't rap to save his life, but he knows he can spot talent and he make good beats. So I'm like, start selling your beats, and get in that way. I was like, cause his shit was called Da Vinci Records, and so I was like, what's your logo? How's anybody gonna distinguish your record label from everybody else? What kind of sounds you trying to bring? Where's your flyers of your artists? Cause he had three. Where's y'all flyers at? He was like, well, the marketing part. I said, why don't you go to TSU, U of H somewhere and get some of these marketing students to be your street team? They would just do it on GP because they can put that down as community service. Like, why don't you take a modeling class so you'll know how to pose for your pictures? Why don't you take a public speaking class so when you give interviews you'll know how to? Cause he did some underground radio. It was hard to listen to. I was like, boy, you sounded all over the place. So at first, like he was bringing stuff home. I was like, yeah, that sounds good right there. Then he just stopped. I'm like, okay. Then this bitch started calling my phone. Uh-huh. I said, where your music at? You don't give a fuck no way. I was like, nah, let me hear it. Where is it at? What you been working on? I said, cause your motherfucking ass ain't been working on a goddamn thing. Said, this hoe keep calling me. I said, look, if you gonna fuck around, don't bring it to the house. Cause if she knock on the door, I'ma shoot her. So tell that if you gonna fuck around, tell that hoe you got a baby on the way. We need some Pampers. Don't give your dick away for free. Like then how she get my number? You talking about me to that hoe? You done went to take a shower or something, and she done went through your phone. Now your stupid ass done got caught. Whatever. I was like, I got more and more disgusted with him, and it was like, damn, this your first kid. You know that stress can cause me to lose the baby. You already putting hands on me, and you gonna cheat too? Like after I had my daughter, I lost all respect for that man. I purely stayed for college. And then when he blocked that, I was like, what you trying to do is not an immediate payoff. When I finish school, it's going to be an immediate payoff when I get a job. And then we can work together for you to establish whatever you trying to do. He said no. What it was is he was insecure. He didn't want me to be any type of level above him. So the final straw was when he pulled the pistol on me. I was like, what's that motherfucker? I snatched it from him and shot his tires up. Like, don't pull no pistol on me. That was it. He went on a business trip because he told me, if you don't have sex with me, I'm gonna fuck somebody else. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, go do whatever it is your heart tell you to go do. Because I bet you I'm gonna be the best bitch you'd have never had. All the inmates used to give him hell. I would never take such disrespect. Like, they hoe ass nigga. Like, one inmate told him, you must be able to lick your eyebrows because how you pull her, you weren't having no bitches before you got here. They Miss A, he wasn't having no bitches before you got here. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, when he went on that business trip, me and my mama packed that whole house up because the police, I had caught them, they wasn't doing anything. And they was like, well, y'all commenting like married, this and that and the third. I bought all that furniture. All the furniture in the house, except for my daughter nursery. He paid for most of the furniture in there, but I decorated it and stuff. But I was like, because the thing was, I was like, I'll buy the furniture and all the stuff while you get your business together. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna get the studio together. I need to get it soundproofed. I need to do all this stuff. I was like, well, okay, if that's gonna make it more comfortable for both of us, you go do that. I'll take care of the house, and that's what we did. But he didn't make good on his side, so we wound up both working overtime. We was working overtime at Lynchland State Jail. Yeah, but that was the last straw for me. I said I don't give a fuck if I gotta live in the shed with my kids. I'm not living in this bitch no more. Like, cause he called the police on me one time. He had a black eye and they was finna take me to jail. They was like, and at TDC you can't have no family violence charges. And I was suspended from work until that shit got worked out. He wound up trying to take it back, but the state had already picked up the charges. And then they was threatening him to arrest him for filing a false police report. But we got it all worked out and stuff. And I said, nah, I gotta go. So I put my stuff in storage. When he came back with nothing in that bitch with a TV and a mattress, we gonna leave with what we came with. So I stayed at my mama's house for a month and then got the house I'm in right now. That was 2009. So I took a break from dating for 4 years. The next, well, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, or for 3 years. And so the dude I mentioned inside Eva Lives Here, the one that was stalking me, that was the first person I dated since my daughter died. That was 2012. He was very clingy and stuff, and like I was like, he used to sell dope, but he got his welding license. And I'm like, okay, you doing good. Like, if you go back to selling dope, we're done. So I started seeing the shit like the 2 phones and shit and switching vehicles and shit. Nope. Sarita, like the child support started hitting his check. Cause baby mama was mad because he moved on. I was like, nope. He kept coming to my house. At this time now I'm at Memorial Herman Southwest. And he was talking to me this about 8 months before I met Kareem. So I was training at Memorial Herman Southwest. So when he came, he transferred from the medical center to the Southwest campus. So over there, you got to train on each shift, no matter what shift you're going to. So I was training him, and I told him about the shit with Lewis because he came up there and he seen me like arguing with him to leave. And he was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "That's my ex. Like, he be stalking me." So he was like, "For real?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, I was like, he been doing this shit about 8 months. And I told him like sometimes he be on the street because he know I can't call the police while he on the street. He don't come to my house. I said, but sometimes he do, and then he just be gone. So I don't even call the police no more. I'll just tell him I call the police and he'll leave. And so he was like, well, when he got off training, he started like Well, let me make sure you make it home good. I was like, you ain't got to do that. I've been dealing with this for all these months. He'll stop
Hold on,
eventually.
hold on. Who starts saying this? Making sure you make it home good.
Cause
Okay, and
after
tell the people.
I met him at
Tell,
Memorial Herman, and so
okay, you met.
after
Hold on, though. Hold on, real quick, Sarita. So tell the people so they know our audience. They might not be hip to your story. So tell the people who is this Karim character in this whole equation.
Karim is my ex and the father of my 10-year-old son, and he gave me and multiple other women HIV on purpose. So I met him at Herman, and even after I stopped training him, I was taking him around the campus, telling him what all the buildings was for, and we was in the security vehicle. And I left my phone somewhere. I said, "Hey, can you call my phone? I don't know where it's at. It's not in my pocket. It was under the seat in the security vehicle." So that's how he wound up getting my phone number. After he was done training, he sent me a text message that said, "Hey, I want to take you out. I think you're beautiful. You're very interesting. I love your lips and blah blah blah." I was like, nah. I was like, I think this text message is distasteful. I didn't give you my number for you to, contact me. And I was like, I got this stalking shit going on. I was like, nah, I'm good. And I think right there, the seed was planted in his mind. Cause like all the nurses was fawning over him, the security officer. We had just a little bit of women security officers because our manager was like, when too many women work together, it be drama. He didn't want more than one woman on each shift and a dispatcher. So the women was looking at him, the nurses, everybody was like, they knew I was a trainer, so they were coming, who's the new guy? Like, what's up with what's his story? And I'm like, go ask him. Like, I wasn't like, oh my God, because I still had that mindset. I don't work in prison. 3,000 inmates in there. Of course I seen something that was fine. Like, but I learned to turn that shit off though. I would just play mind games with myself like, is this nigga worth my job? Because if you have sex with one of them niggas and you get caught and they really want to make an example out of you, they're going to charge you with sexual assault because there is no consensual sex in TDC. And then after that, you got to register as a sex offender. So I'm like, man, nah. And people going to automatically assume you been fucking with kids because it's all on the same registry. And I used to be like, nah, that nigga going to cause, I can't pay my bills. I'm gonna fuck up my household. He probably got HIV. He a booty bandit, all this type of shit. Like, I knew how to turn that shit off. And I knew, like, working my daughter dad, like, the shit don't work working with somebody, being with somebody you work with. And I wasn't interested in it. So I declined him, and he was so sorry and things like that. I was like, it's cool. Don't let it happen again, though. So I think that planted the seed in his mind, like, because I think he a sociopath. Like, damn, somebody told me no. Like, I have women coming on to me all day, every day. Like, she different. So I can't come at her that way. So I gotta find another way to come at her. I really truly believe that's what he did. So, coworkers talk or whatever. And so Lewis showed up while I was training him, so he knew the situation with Lewis. So what Lewis figured out was, okay, if I come to the emergency room to seek treatment, then I can see her. Because he got that idea when he jumped my gate one time and I cut him, like, right here. Not enough to damage nothing, but to let him know, look, I ain't fucking around. Next time it's gonna be a pistol. Like, I'm sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So Kareem was like, well, you want me to follow you home? Like, he was like, I'm gonna follow you home so to make sure you get home safe. And I was like, nah, you ain't gotta do that. Because the first time he did it, he just did it. And the next day I was like, Kareem, did you follow me home this morning? He was like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you got home safe because you told me about the shit that's going on with Lewis. And I was like, I said, you didn't have to do that. And I was thinking, like, now this nigga know where I stay at. He didn't know my particular house, but he knew where I stayed at. And so I was like,
Predator
it's cool.
behavior, man.
You ain't got to do that.
So that's
I
predator
said, it's
behavior.
cool. Yeah, I said, it's cool. You ain't got to do that. But he kept doing it, making sure. And there's a part, like, it's in a gated community. So it's a part that the gate where you can peer in. He knew what my car looked like. So he saw where I pulled in at the back of my house. So he couldn't tell which house it was from the front, but he could tell, like, from the back. So, and that's where Lewis would usually be, because he wanted to see my house and see if anybody was pulling up in there or whatever. He was trying to watch whatever the fuck he was trying to watch or whatever. Eventually, he stopped. So I was, because they started telling him, look, if you come up here for anything other than treatment, we taking you to jail. He didn't want to chance that because he was still on parole. So he just stopped bringing his ass up there. He acted like he was heartbroken. You gonna do that to me? You gonna do that to me? He was from New Orleans, so I can't get the accent. You gonna do that to me, love? Like, so, coworkers talk. We talk shit. It's nighttime. If it don't be too much going on, we talk or whatever. So Kareem is listening because, he very friendly, very charming, very in shape. He's 6 foot. He very knowledgeable and stuff. Like, he matched my smarts. So like, we talked more than he talked to other people. So, cause he would talk to the other dudes about sports and stuff, especially basketball, cause he played basketball and he boxed. So he would talk to them about sports and shit. And, I would talk to him about my kids and stuff, and he knew my whole situation or whatever. Um, I was about to say something. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, he started out with the following me home shit. Then we started having lunch together and stuff, and his car broke down and they needed to ship a piece from somewhere. So, like, I'm zoned in HISD. I do not like the schools that I'm zoned to, so I use my mama address. She stayed off Memorial and Briar Forest. I live in an urban area, but it could be the same district, but if you live over where some money at, the school's gonna be different. So I wound up sending my son to school over there. And he was staying at nighttime by himself at that time. So Kareem's house was like 5 minutes from the school. So I'm like, all right, I'll take you home. You ain't gotta ride the bus. I was like, let me just grab my son real quick, because he'll be ready for school when I got out. I was like, let me grab him real quick and I'll take you home. He was like, bet, okay. So the first time, like, that's how he got introduced to my son. Because I introduced him, hey, this is Mr. Kareem, this is my coworker. That's my son, Q. So Q back there playing games on his phone. He's like, hey, little man, what you playing? He's like, oh, whatever. He was like, oh, I got the cheat codes to that game. My son like, really? I've been trying to get past this one level. So that he kind of like bonded with him over gaming. And my son was like, hey, Mr. Kareem, you're really nice. You should take my mom out on a date. I was like, nah. All right, nah, we're not going out on no dates. I was like, nah, that's just my friend Q. We don't go out on dates like that. So, and he gonna look at me like this. I was like, mm-mm. So he finally got his car back or whatnot. But now my son is asking about him. Hey, what happened to Mr. Kareem? And so I'm like, oh, he got his car fixed. Like, he not gonna be riding with us no more. So I think now I think that that's when he saw his opening. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking this whole time, this is 8 months. Like, this whole time, he just filing away shit about me. And he like, that son, she talking about her kids all the time. And so he wound up asking me out again, and I told him maybe. And so I eventually said yes. And we went to PF Chang's for our first date. I got PTSD from this whole situation. I will never step foot in another PF Chang's in my life. It's triggering. That side of
Mm.
Westheimer where he lived at, I can't go on that side. It's too many
You
memories
can't
on that
ride
side.
over there.
My mama stayed over there. He stayed over there. We went to Whataburger over there. It's too much. Like, it's too much. So I avoid it. Sometimes I Uber. If the Uber got anything to do with that side of the Westheimer on the other side of the Beltway, I don't care how much they trying to pay me. I'm not going over there because I'm not about to trigger myself. It's certain songs like I won't listen to. I can't listen to because it's triggering. So I know my triggers though. So anyway, our first day was PF Chang's. So I had a good time. We went to PF Chang's. We went to the movies. And oh, I remember what I was about to say. Before we went on that date, he said, I'm going to pharmacy school, because I talked about going to nursing school to him. As if anybody on here watching knows, on Eva lives here. they did the little scene where I told him I was thinking about going to nursing school. That's not correct. I was already in the process of going to nursing school. That's the reason why I left TDC to pursue forensic nursing. Because remind you, I told you I wanted to be somewhere in criminal justice. And I was like, I found about forensic nursing. I was like, that's fascinating. Like, I went to Herman on purpose because they have their own forensic nursing program. So I was like, well, security is my foot in the door. They're gonna pay for me to go to school, and I'm gonna have a job when I get through. So like, I'm trying to move strategic. I can't get it out strategically. You see what I'm saying? So I went there. And people always talk about top flight. Hospital security is not you sitting at some car lot looking at the cars. You gotta at Herman, you gotta be commissioned. You gotta carry a 40 cal. You gotta wear a bulletproof vest. You gotta at all hospitals. You gotta be certified to work hospital security in particular. You gotta go through defensive tactics training. You gotta go through CPI, which is called crisis prevention intervention, because it's a form of de-escalation. And see, it was really hard for me to make the change from restraining inmates to restraining patients, because you got to have a softer hand with patients. So it was just an adjustment for me in that way, because my manager told me one day, "Hey, Anderson, turn the CO off." I was like, "It's like, what am I doing?" He was
Calm
like,
down. Calm,
huh?
calm.
Yeah, he was like, "We ain't. I respect your spirit, but we ain't got to do all that."
Yeah, yeah,
He said, I feel scared and safe at the same time. I was
yeah.
like, he's like, you handle these patients a little rough. I was like, because at TDC, our objective was to subdue them. If you break an arm in the process, fuck it. Nobody don't care. But you start breaking patients' arms, you don't fuck around and open yourself in the hospital up for a lawsuit. So eventually I learned, how to maneuver in those spaces. So yeah, I was helping him because at that time, remember I told you I never did finish at TSU, but I knew the system, and how to get money and all this type of stuff. So I helped him enroll in pharmacy school. So that's never been said on no publications. This is the first on y'all shit. Like, he was actually going to pharmacy school. I was actively going through the steps to get into nursing school, and I eventually got into nursing school. I'll touch back on that later. But okay, I went on the date with him, and on Evil Lives Here, it made it seem like while I was training him, I slept with him. No, it was 8 months before I even agreed to go on a date with him. And so we went on a date. But before that, like when Lewis had jumped the gate the last time and I cut him, I called Karim and told him, and he was like, "Well, just come over here." I was like, "For what?" And he was like, I'll just feel better if you with me. So I went over there. This is the first time I went to his house. Now, mind you, it looked like a bachelor pad. I was like, "Nigga, you don't take out your trash? Why your game all over the place in the living room? Mm, this pick this shit up." Like, I was bothered. Like, where's your curtains, nigga? Like, what? I remember looking at all that and stuff. And so that was the first time that we had sex. It was supposed to be just one time. It was supposed to be a one off. And he said, I was like, "You have condoms?" He was like, "Well, I ain't tripping if we don't use one." I said, "But I care though. Like, you need to put on a condom." And he did. And so that was just supposed to be it. But like, I wound up going on that date with him and I had fun. And so we went out another time, and I was like, we got really good chemistry. I can't deny that. I like being around him. He's very fun, very much a gentleman, opening doors and doing all that type of stuff. I was like, well, I asked him, I mean, we work together, we be eating lunch together, we going out having fun. Like, what you think about us, like, being together, like monogamously? He was like, I mean, it feels like we're together anyway. Like, okay. I said, well, he said, I don't like to use condoms when I'm in a relationship. He thought it was like a trust issue if he had to use a condom. That's the way he put it. I was like, well, okay, if you don't want to use one, we need to go get tested. I had a well women's exam a month before. So I already knew wasn't nothing wrong with me, and I wasn't fucking nobody because the last person I was with was Lewis. And that had been over a year prior to that. So I hadn't been with nobody. And so I knew I was clean with about everything. I was clean. And so I was like, well, I'll go get these tests again just in good faith because I'm asking you to get them. You see what I'm saying? So he went, and back then there wasn't no my chart and portals and all that shit. Like if you you had to sign a consent form to take a HIV test. It's still that way to this day. You got to sign. They can't just run them. You got to sign a consent form. And then they tell you, wait 2 weeks. If we don't call you, no news is good news. And people, my age and up, we done heard that before. If you didn't have the HIV test, hey, you ain't getting no damn call unless you was positive. And so we waited them 2 weeks. I got on birth control pills because I'm like, I know that nigga ain't got no HIV. I ain't got it either. So let me go ahead and get on birth control pills. That way, after the 2 weeks, it'll be in my system. And we never used condoms again after that. And that nigga wants to have sex every day, like before work, after work, outside, inside, like everywhere. Like, and I think that one of the reasons he was so drawn to me because I could keep up with him. Like, if he was with the shits, I was with the shits too. Where we going? Like, when? What position? Like, we was having sex at my house, at work, because, we work security. I used to work in the office sometimes, so I knew the cameras that wasn't working. I knew places, the blind spots and shit like that. So I was like, hey, we can go over here.
She from that
But we
dub,
was just,
old freaky ass, man. Yeah, go ahead.
it was just nuts, like, all the time. But I
Yeah,
know, like, he had already bonded with Q. So Q was really excited when I told him he was my boyfriend. And so we had a basket at that time. Q was playing little league. Brandon Scruggs got league, a little league. So he got the flag, prep, JV, and varsity. And Terrence Paul is one of the coaches. And all of them ran with Marquis. So I Mrs. Brandon was like, well, like, Q want to play football. Like, what does it take for him to go play football? And so he wound up playing for him. He was in his third year of playing football right before I started dating Kareem. So Quinlan was like, well, we done won the Super Bowl twice. I want to play basketball now. So I bought him a basketball goal. And Kareem was more than happy to coach him. Like, hey, he'd be out there playing basketball with him before his games and stuff, practicing with him and stuff, telling them tips and tricks and all type of stuff. I would just look at him, oh, look at him, he look happy. Like, he taught him, my kids, all of them are mannerable. They gonna say, if Carlos or Bobby, if they meet you right now, they're gonna say, yes, sir, no, sir. Even if you tell them, you don't gotta call me sir, it's in them to just say it. So Quinlan was very respectable. Call him Mr. Kareem. He's like, you don't have to call me Mr. He told him, no, I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't say Mr. So they be out there playing. He told him about wearing undershirts. Like, I never thought about no shit like that. I'm like, long as he got some clean kicks and he looking presentable with a haircut, I don't know about them goddamn undershirts. You know what I'm saying? Long as he respectful, he's a respectful young man. He tell him, hey, you gotta wear an undershirt or a white beater or something under your shirt. Oh, okay. He told him he bought his first wallet. He said, oh, Mr. Karama, I want some cologne. He's like, well, I don't think you made it to cologne yet. I'm going to get you some Axe. But he was so proud of that Axe. One day he sprayed so much on there, he triggered my allergies on the way to school. I was like, nigga, did you spray the whole bottle? Like, you just in there. I said, Kareem, you bought it for him. Did you show him how to use it? Like, he was really bonding with him. And then, like, when me and my daughter dad was together, he really bonded with my son too. And he called him dad number two. Because I guess he felt like it was disrespectful to Marquis to just call him dad. So even after we broke up, when he would get my daughter on the weekends, he would take my son too. Unless he was going to visit Marquis parents. So he would just pull up to my house and come get her, and then that's how they met. Because anything on my car, Kareem took care of. If I need an oil change, he took care of that. If I need tires, he went and got tires. All the maintenance on my car, the washing of my car, anything I do with my car, he took care of that. So he was outside washing it one day when my daughter dad pulled up, and I went outside because I know he be mean mugging my daughter dad because he just, especially when he drinking. But we wind up figuring it out. But whatever. So I introduced them, and they was kind of like, But the more he pulled up and Corinne would come out, and they be, hey man, what's going on? Da 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 da. So they got along. And then my son told my mama about Corinne. She said, "You dated somebody?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Why you ain't tell me?" I said, "Because I don't like, you don't like nobody." So I'm like, I don't want to bring him over there. Well, bring him over here. So I took him to my mama's house. Automatically, they started talking because she had sports on. I believe she had a basketball game on TV, and that was it. When he found out my mama was into all sports, including wrestling, I mean, she knew stats, draft picks, players, all type of stuff, and they was just going on and on. I was like, well, yeah, I'm ready to go, right? Because I don't know all that shit. Like they just act like I wasn't there, and my kids playing in the other room and stuff, and she was. And when we got back in the car, he was like, wow, I ain't never seen no woman that know about sports and like sports like your mama. He was like, man, she cool as hell. So he got the mama approval. He got baby daddy approval now. Everybody at work was elated that we was together. Now he got the approval. He got the approval of my mama. So like, we would have date night. We had different off days. So he was off Thursday and Friday. So like during football season, he would just go to my mama house and watch the game with her. That's how like he was ingrained in my family. You know what I'm saying? So uh we would plan our date night because one of us would have to take off. So we were playing date night. We did things with my kids. Um, my son continued to play basketball, but then he joined band. So he was playing the trumpet. He wound up getting in concert band, so we would go to those things. And my daughter dad would go too. So they would see each other through the events of my kids. And like my daughter was in karate. So she would have tournaments and they would see each other at her tournaments. So, if one of them had an award ceremony or something, they would see each other at those things too. And so like they just was like they wasn't friends, but when they seen each other, hey, they dap each other up and start talking about whatever it is they can talk about. So it wasn't no baby daddy drama. I established that from the jump. I'm not finna put up with that. You're not finna come to my house cutting no food. We got homeowners association over here. They're not finna stand for all that. If you can't act right, I will meet you at the gas station down the street, and that's how it had to be for a while. So when he started back coming to the house, they got really cool like that. So we continued doing things with my kids like Disney on Ice. We was taking, he would take Q to basketball games like Rockets games because my mom worked for a law firm and she would get the tickets free. So they would go to those type of things. Me and him was going strong. I mean, we had little things, little quarrels, but nothing out the ordinary of couples. You see what I'm saying? So he got to where he started like,
Bobby B, go ahead. What you about to say?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Um, at what point? Well, I have two questions. At what point did you actually find out that he had gave you the virus? Was it like you said at first? It was multiple women that was attracted to him at the job. Did he end up ever like dating or talking to one of the women at the job that y'all worked at? Y'all relationship? It was just y'all relationship. Okay.
yeah.
Well, what point
So
did you find out
it was
that?
another girl in our department that wanted to talk to him before we was together. And there's a scene in Evil Lives Here where a girl come in and say, "Hey, Kareem, how's your wife doing?" I'm like, she had been trying to fuck with me, and I was like, "Look, I'll find another job. You keep fucking with me, I'm gonna beat you the fuck up. Like, leave me alone, right? And quit fucking talking to him." And I told him, "And why you ain't checking?" Mm-hmm. And I don't know if she did a background check. I don't know how the fuck she knew he was married. But she, even knowing that, she still tried to fuck with him. Like, and he wasn't giving her no type of attention or time. And then when we got together, she tried to go ahead and treat me funky. I was like, nah. I said, Karim, like, you need to tell her to leave you alone. Like, you're not finna go for that. You know, she would give me mean mugs and say shit up under her breath. Yeah, I don't care about what you say under your breath. You know, don't say it to me. So, I'm gonna get to answer your question, Bobby, because that's way ahead. Because I didn't get infected right away. Well, I didn't get sick right away. I don't know when I got infected, but I wasn't visibly sick right away. So, he knew I have type 1 diabetes. So he would go with me to my doctor's appointments and stuff, and he knew that my diabetes wasn't well controlled. So I was like, well, the doctor was like, if you lose weight and keep your blood sugars low, you know, you ain't got no problems. So Karim was started meal prepping for me, and I don't like gym, so he started showing me like Pilates and things I could do at home, and I started to lose weight, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever he telling me is working. So that started out with the weight loss, and then I started to get sick. So I thought it was the flu at first. I have asthma also, so I had to go to the doctor and get steroids and an antibiotic to because the steroids is to open my airways. If it's really bad, I have to take breathing treatments. So I went and did that. The shit went away. I was cool for about a month, and then I got walking pneumonia. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I ain't never had no damn walking pneumonia. Like, okay, I go back to the doctor. He said, what's a different antibiotic for that? And you got to be on bed rest. So, okay, Karim was at that appointment. I got rid of the walking pneumonia. I resided for about a month and a half, 2 months. That weight started melting off. Like first, it was maybe like 15 pounds at a good rate. You know, because I was eating right. He told me about the significance of drinking more water. I'm doing all that. He putting lemons. He is setting up my stuff, like my mug, putting lemons in it and things of that nature. And I started losing weight, and then it just started coming out too fast, and I knew something was wrong. Like it started with the weight loss. And then my diabetes was out of control. And I'm like, why is it out of control when I'm losing weight and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be? Why is it out of whack like this? Then, like, I started getting colds, pneumonia, the weight loss. Then I started losing my hair. Like, it was coming out in chunks. It went down to, like, it looked like baby hairs on top of my head. And I started crying, and Karim was like, it's okay, like, we're gonna find out what's wrong. He was like, you want me to shave the rest of it? And I was crying when he shaved the rest of it off my head. And he gave me a hug and was like, you still beautiful and stuff. He did all this stuff, right? And so, oh, I skipped the part how he met my daughter dad's side of the family. So when I told you he was coming to all the functions. So we threw a big party for her 8th birthday. And his side of him, his sister, her husband, their 2 kids, his mama, his dad, and a few of my daughter friends. We all went to the skating ring, and then we went to Chuck E. Cheese. And so that's how he met that side of the family. And they all liked him. So I'm going through this purposely for people that are saying, well, you should have saw the red flags. And when I tell you there weren't any, there weren't any. That nigga had his gym bag at my house. He had toiletries. He stopped going home to get new clothes because I would just wash them here. So he had his basketball shorts here and all type of shit, 2 pair of shoes. He had, like, I have a his and hers sink. Wasn't nothing on the other side because I ain't had nobody living here but me. He had his side. Now he got a drawer in in the dresser. You see what I'm saying? Like, he didn't go home a lot of the times. I could drive his car. I would drive his car. I said, hey, babe, I'm going to the nail shop. All right, take whatever card out of my wallet. And I would go to the nail shop. Like, he never had his phone on vibrate. He didn't hide it. It didn't have no security code on it. He would plug it up and leave it on the nightstand. So, like I told you, like, I would go to his house. I didn't see no curtains. The trash was overflowing. He had his PlayStation in the living room. Like, I never saw anything feminine. I done stayed the night over there. no, like if you come in my house, you know a woman live here. There's curtains, there's candles. You go in my bathroom, I got a whole little caddy of Bath and Body Works. I got a thing on the wall with my skincare products. Like you look in the shower, my body wash. Like you know a woman live here. So I didn't see any of that over there. And I like to go to his house because he had a garden tub. When I wanted to take a little good bath, I would go over there. So he wasn't moving like anything was wrong. He coming to the doctor's appointments and shit. A couple of times I had to stay in the hospital because I had viral infections that needed to be treated with IV drugs. He would take my son to school and sleep on the couch in my hospital room. That happened twice. And so I'm continually to deteriorate. Like I'm running fevers all the time. My hair done fell out. I'm losing weight. Like all my clothes is sagging on me. I have no energy. I had just enough energy to go to work. Like all I couldn't even when my son would have recitals or my daughter would have tournaments, he would take his tablet so he could record it and so I could see it because I was too weak to go. And he made sure I saw everything. He made sure like I ate what I could eat because a lot of stuff irritated my stomach. And it was like a just deep pain in my stomach. What later I would find out was gallstones. So I was getting bacterial infections, high fevers. Then I start getting these blotches on my skin, and when I would run a fever, they would burn. Like it would hurt to touch me. So he couldn't hug me, so he just used to massage my shoulders because he knew like he would just hug me underneath her like this. I couldn't let him touch my arms because it would burn. And so I got that shit. And then like I got thrush in my mouth, which is like yeast. It was all white right here, my tongue, everything. I went to the dentist and he was like, that's you need to talk to your doctor about that because that's something that goes from within. So I go talk to my doctor about it. He said, Sarita, your labs look terrible. He was like, and now you got thrush. He was like, these are all signs of HIV. I was like, well, what's another disease or whatever, because I know I ain't got that. He was like, well, if you'll allow me to run a test and it's negative, I'm going to send you to an oncologist because more than likely you have some type of cancer. And they didn't say that on Evil Lives Here. Like, they left the question open as to why we was looking up cancers. That's why, because the doctor said that. So, he right there on the computer, like, what type of cancer? I said, well, I done had cervical cancer before, but they clipped a part of my cervix, so I don't know. Like I was like, I don't know. Like I smoked, so I'm like, maybe it's lung cancer. I said, whatever it is, there's something wrong with me. So the faster we identify, the faster I can get on with treatment. And so he ran that test on a Thursday. That Wednesday, I was like, Kareem, something is wrong. He was at work. I was like, I couldn't even drive, or I wouldn't have went to the hospital I worked at. Like, I would have went to another Herman, like in Sugarland. I was like, can you come pick me up? I can't drive. Because he came, picked me up, brought me to the emergency room. And then he sat there, and then he was like, you want me to go take you to school? I was like, yeah. So the doctor come, they do an ultrasound, say you got gallstones. I was in something called diabetic ketoacidosis, which means your blood sugars are so high that you got to go to the ICU because the normal range is between 80 and 120. My blood sugars was 850, and you can only get them numbers with a blood test. So the diabetic ketoacidosis, you can die from that or go into a diabetic coma. So, and it's just imagine a Charlie horse over your whole body. It give you severe cramping. You build up a lot of acid in your stomach, and that hurts. Like it's just, it's uncomfortable. So you have to go to the ICU so they can, cause ain't no shots gonna work. They have to give you like an insulin drip, like at all times. And the nurse have to come in there every 2 to 4 hours and check your blood sugars, cause now you fucked up. They giving you fluids, so he was like, you gotta go to ICU. I'm like, yeah, I go to ICU. I'm sitting up there and two doctors come in there. I said, what's up? It's like, I assumed they was endocrinologists because that's who take care of diabetes. And one was an endocrinologist, but one was a hospitalist, which means he's a doctor that strictly works in the hospitals. He was like, "Oh, well, Miss Anderson, we got some bad news." I'm thinking they done found the cancer. I said, "What is it?" He was like, "We ran 2 tests and you got HIV." I was like, I said, "My doctor just ran tests last week. He didn't say nothing." They was like, "Oh, we contacted him already." And he was like, "You were supposed to get your results tomorrow." And I was like, I was like, "Y'all got to have the wrong patient." He was like, "No, your doctor's tested positive, and whenever somebody tests positive, you got to run a confirmation test." So that was 2, and then they ran a test and ran a confirmation test and told me I was positive. I was like, I didn't cry. I was just numb. Like, it was like I was out of body and somebody was talking to me. Like, I was like, okay. They kept standing there, and I'm like, why y'all still standing there? Well, we got to tell you what else is wrong. What the fuck you mean? What else is wrong? Well, you got nephritis, which is inflammation of your kidneys. You got hepatitis, which is inflammation of your liver. You got pancreatitis, which is inflammation of your pancreas, and that's where insulin is made. And I'm type 1, and I don't make insulin. But he said you got gallstones, severe anemia, so you're gonna need a blood transfusion. Because that's why I was feeling tired all the time, because I had severe anemia. So he was like, "You're gonna need a blood transfusion." And I was like, he was like, "You lucky you came in, because less than a month, you would have died." I started unhooking shit. I was like, let me go home. I was like, I'm not about to live with all this shit. You just done told me I got HIV and all this other shit in less than a month. I was like, less than a month, that's probably two to 3 weeks. Let me die at home. I don't want no treatment. Just let me go die at home. They was like, wait, you can't pull out the I was like, look, back up off me. Let me go home. I don't want any treatment. Are you saying you don't want to live? I said, no. You just told me I was dying. And I'm telling you I want to die at home. So I want to go home. They wound up restraining me. I was like yelling at them. That's when I started crying. Because before that, I called Karim and told him that I was in the ICU. And he was like, ICU? I was like, yeah, because before he left, they said, well, we're going to get you a room ready. But I guess he didn't hear the ICU part. So I told him where I was. So he came in there. Sarita, why you restrained? I was like, because they just told me I was dying. And he said, from what? I said, HIV. Do you know anything about that? And he said, HIV? I was like, yeah. I said, who you been fucking around with? Because I'm assuming he cheated and got it. He was like, nobody. I said, nigga, I haven't done nothing. I've only been fucking you. I got HIV. You gave it to me, so who gave it to you? I don't know what happened. Well, it's only a couple ways you can get it, and the other one, I got it from sex with you. So don't play in my face. Like, I'm already dying. At least tell me how and why before I leave. Like, he was like, don't say that. I was like, I'm fucking restrained in this damn bed because I want to go home and die. You sitting in here playing in my face. Like, get the fuck on. Just he tried to hug me. I was like, don't touch me. If you can't tell me what happened and why, get the fuck out of my room. And I just started crying. I was like, nigga cheated on me, so I felt heartbroken. I was like, because we was talking about marriage. I had made it to nursing school. I only was in nursing school a week. I was like, everything I worked for, I took a pay cut from working at TDC to go pursue nursing. I finally make it, and now I got fucking HIV. I was like, this ain't it. Mm-mm. I was like, these people won't let me go home. I don't want to die in this fucking hospital. And this nigga over here lying. I know he lying. And then what was bothering me too, he didn't react right. Like, if the shoe was on the other foot and he was in that bed, I would have been like, I don't know what the fuck going on, but I know I didn't do nothing. But apparently you did. So I need to go to the doctor. I ain't trying to hear no explanations right now. I don't want to hear that shit. I need to go to the doctor and make sure I'm okay. And if I'm not, I need to go figure out how I'm gonna be okay. I would have left. Like, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Obviously, you did something, but he didn't react like that. He was leaning over, squeezing his eyes together, trying to cry and shit. That nigga got a headache trying to squeeze one tear out that eye. I'm talking about he was leaned over. I said, I'm looking at him like this. Get the fuck out. Just go. Cause you over there trying too hard to cry. It's not coming naturally. So just you know what happened. But you don't want to tell me. I was like, just go. I was in ICU 2 weeks, and then I was in a regular room 2 weeks. The medicine they originally gave me for HIV made me throw up, and I had raging diarrhea. So they kept me. They couldn't release me until they found a medicine that I could go home with. And so, because I didn't accept that medicine, they had to go up a tier because it's tiers. And the top tier is like the most recent medicine on the market. Well, the insurance company denied that one because they want you to get the cheap shit. So my doctor had to call the insurance company and write a statement that say this is medically necessary. If a doctor do that and say it's medically necessary, that means if this patient don't get this particular drug, they gonna die, and you open yourself up for a lawsuit. So he did that on my behalf, and then he showed me like a government program run through the manufacturer of that drug that offsets the cost of it. At that time, it was $37,000 a month without no insurance. Now it's
Damn.
$4,000.
$1,000 a month.
It had 4 medicines
Not
in it and one
not
pill.
3,700, 37,000.
Oh, yeah, 3,700. I'm tripping.
Okay,
3,700.
3,700.
That's
Okay.
still a lot.
Now
Okay.
it's
So yes,
now
yeah.
it's about 4,200 without no insurance.
That's still
So
outrageous.
it's outrageous, right? And
Yeah.
it's just one pill with 4 medicines in it one time a day. And at first it gave me nausea when I would take it, so I would eat bread. Because they told me because I went from 215 to 135 in 6 months. And it didn't look like healthy weight loss. It like all this was sunk in. Like, I looked a mess. I didn't have no hair. It was a mess. Like, I just looked at myself in the mirror when I got home and started crying. I was like, what do I do now? Like, this nigga won't tell me what happened. And I'm about to die. Like, I'm gonna get AIDS and die a horrible death. Like, I don't. I was like, damn, I got life insurance. I took an overdose of insulin. My mama just happened to be in the area at the 99-cent only store. She came to bring me some stuff. And when I didn't answer the door, she used her key. She said she was just gonna leave it in the house, but she found me on the floor and called the ambulance. And I was mad when I woke up. I was like, how did I get here? And she was like, I found you on the floor. I was like, why you didn't just leave me there? Quinlan made hot dogs for a whole month, and that's when I knew I had to send my kids to live with their families, because I literally had a nervous breakdown. And I was like, this ain't right. Like, this ain't the mother I am. Like, I'm the mother in the PTA, making goodie bags for Valentine's Day and sending them to school with costumes. Remember I told you they was involved in a lot of stuff. And I cooked every day. Like, well, I would cook every other day. And I'm like, this is not right for me to lay in my bed every day. They wasn't going to school. I was like, they got it. I can't let them. That was hard. Like, when I
Tell me
had to
about your
send them.
fight back. That's what I was gonna ask you. So when did you start fighting back and start doing what you end up doing, leading to where he's at now and shit like that?
It took a long time because after I got home, that's when I found out I was pregnant. I ain't really
Okay.
know what to feel about it. I ain't feel really no type of way because I
Damn,
thought
hold
I was
on.
gonna.
So my bad, sis. I mean cut you out. So hold on. So you found out all this. You found out you got all this medical conditions going on, and then you find out that you pregnant also.
Mm-hmm.
Just ain't know
Oh,
that
and when
right away though. They didn't know that right away with all that.
they was focusing on the other stuff.
Okay.
Unless you tell them there's a chance you might be pregnant or you going for an x-ray and they ask, you think you pregnant because the radiation affects the baby, they not gonna just randomly run no damn pregnancy test. When I went to get my gallbladder removed, they discovered that I had PID, which is called pelvic inflammatory disease, and they said more than likely I had it from a long-term untreated chlamydia, and chlamydia don't have no symptoms. So somewhere along the way, the nigga gave me chlamydia too. So and PID makes you sterile. So the fact that I got pregnant, I call my son a miracle. Because if I had it, then he had it too. We was both supposed to be sterile. So I was like, I was like, man, I ain't about to get no abortion. We both gonna go up together. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Yeah.
I just got fell into a real bad depression. Like I said, I had a nervous breakdown. I would hate waking up in the morning. Where I was like, I'm waking up to another hell. At some point, I just I just said, fuck it about the life insurance. I took a whole bottle of Xanax. I got in the shower and I called my mama and got in the shower and I had slid down the shower and I hear somebody say, "Hey, ma'am, get out the shower and put some clothes on." I remember I was like, well, I guess I ain't going to heaven. Like, I'm going somewhere else. I was in the twilight zone. I was like, I don't think they supposed to say that, but he said it again. It was an HPD officer. My mama had called them. And so I get out, put my robe on. He see the bottle on the bed. He said, you going in for EDO, emergency detention order. That was my third one. So at that point, I was 5 months pregnant. And they take me to Bental, restrained to a stretcher, mind you. Because the ambulance came after that. They had to pump my stomach, then they put me in the psych area. I
Is
wound
this
up
when you
escaping.
found out you was pregnant, or you already knew?
Now, I'm 5 months now. The
You found
insulin
that.
was the first suicide attempt. The second one was when I took the Xanax, and then I escaped. I'm running down the street with my robe on, trying to get to Memorial Hermann in the medical center. And I went to the labor and delivery floor, got a waiting area, and I called my mama to come get me. And so I hid my car and everything because they was talking about sending me to an institution. I was like, fuck no, I can't go to no institution. Mm-mm. So after that, I was like, my mama begged me not to try suicide anymore. And I was like, well, I've been smoking my whole pregnancy. I done tried 2 suicide attempts. My baby gonna come out fucked up, and I ain't gonna be able to live with that. So let's just go ahead and dead this. I'll take a pistol. At this point, I'm like, I ain't want my mama to find me with my brain splattered on the wall, but pistol to the head, 9mm. I do this, it jams. So I go back out to the back of my house and I clear the chamber and it shoots. So I come back in the house, another jam. Go back out there, clear it, and it shoots. I tried my 40. That motherfucker jammed. And I clean my weapons because I know there's if you don't clean them, there's a chance that they'll jam. I said, man, the devil is in this house. I said, Kareem done left his nasty ass spirit in this house and now I can't even die. I'm talking about, I went out to the back where my gate is. I was butt naked. And I was like, because I thought he had put some juju up in my house. I went outside, took all my clothes off and tried. They kept jamming. I said, I'm living in hell on earth. Right. I was just like, I'm going to just stop taking my medicine then. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I'm going to die a slow, horrible death. Like, I'm going to get AIDS and die a slow, horrible death. So I don't want to do that. So I was just, like, existing every day. I wasn't living. I was existing every day. And, like, I had went to the doctor and they told me, like, if I kept taking my medicine, it was a 5% chance that I could give it to my son. So I thought about it. Kareem came to that appointment and I went like 2 more times and then I stopped going. Well, the doctor started calling me and I blocked the number. Then she started calling me from her cell phone. Miss Anderson, you need to come in. And I was like, leave me alone. Like, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. So I finally went in again and I was playing with my phone. I installed something called Truecaller on my phone. And he called to tell me that he wouldn't be able to make the phone call, but it wasn't his name that popped up. His last name is Zakakani, Kareem Zakakani. That ain't no like normal name.
Right.
It's so it had his wife name and then his last name. I was like, that ain't his mama name, like, and he don't have no sisters. So who is this? I Google her name, thinking maybe her Facebook gonna pop up. No, they marriage license popped up. So I ran out the waiting room. I was crying. I called him. I was like, so you married? And he was like, okay, so now you know. Now what? Are you been so callous? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm over here fighting for my life, and you out here just like nothing is wrong. That shit started to piss me off. And my hatred started growing from him right then and there. And he stopped talking to me after I found out he was married. And so then the doctors tell me you had this heart condition because your body was weak when you conceived. So you got to take this heart medicine. And I was like, nah, I don't want to take no more medicine. They was like, well, you, the baby, or both of y'all could die if you go into labor. I said, I don't care. So I didn't take no heart medicine. And so he stopped coming to the doctor's, the appointments. And I was like, I was getting more and more pissed off. And one night I was at work and I had got pissed off. And I called his phone like 20 times. I'm like, I'm going to blow the battery out this bitch. Like, he finally answered and said, what the fuck do you want? I said, nothing. That next day, I put it on Facebook about what was going on. I said, man, if I die, I'm going to have this out here forever. Like, people need to know what the fuck's going on. At this time, I didn't know that he had already had it. I just thought he cheated on me. When I tell you I woke up and I had so many notifications, like so many shares, so many people messaging me, women messaging me like, when did you test positive? I tested positive September 17, 2014. So when did you test positive? You know, I slept with him this time. And I told them, you know, I put that in the post when I tested positive. And so that heart shit kicked in and I couldn't breathe and I stopped reading the messages. But not before somebody sent me his mama number. So I called his mama and tell her what's going on. And she said, well, have you talked to his wife? I was like, I just found out about her. Like, I didn't know he had no wife. And after I found out about her, I went on her Facebook page and I told her everything that was going on. I sent her every picture I had. And I screenshotted all my Facebook posts because he would post on my Facebook all the time. And then when I started to get sick, he'd be like, oh, I got to take care of baby. Y'all pray for us. I mean, playing his role to the T. You see what I'm saying? So, and also during the time that we was dating, he was a little league coach. So, like, it kind of pissed me off when people say, you should have seen the red flag. Motherfucker, he fooled a whole community. Like, a whole
Yeah.
community. So, like, everybody just, the outpouring of the support from the community is what made me want to live again. Made me
And
want
what
to
you
fight for
said
me.
you
I'm talking
said
about,
something about him when you would want to meet his parents or his family, he deaded that in the beginning because of how did he do that or whatnot?
he said that he had been with his ex-fiance for 5 years. That was true. And he said that she was still in touch with his family and they didn't want to meet no other woman unless it was really serious. And so I respected that because we had only been together a year. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to push nothing until it's and have a bad reaction with his family because it's too soon. So I ain't really pressed the issue because like that made sense to me. You know, people like, oh, that was a red flag. I'm like, it wasn't for me. Like that seemed like a justifiable explanation. But I did end up meeting his grandma though. Like he used to go over there and go grocery shopping with for her and stuff and take her to her appointments and I would go with him sometimes. So I knew his grandma.
And
Um
then go ahead, B.
What? Now so at the time that y'all together, he was still sleeping with other women, infecting them at that time, or no? Did y'all get to add it up? Cause the story, like you said, he fooled me. Like it sounded like a great relationship from the kids on down, actively involved. Like damn, when do we got time to do all this? You know, what I'm saying? If it was around the same time frame.
According to my timeline and the women that came forward, I didn't see any overlaps with me. I don't, like you said, I don't see how he had time. We spent like 92% of our time together. He didn't go home in the morning after work. We spent Valentine's Day together. I didn't meet his family for Thanksgiving, but we had Thanksgiving with my mama and my kids. He was there. He was at all the function.
And he
I'm
was
talking about
married at the same time.
hmm And I'm like, where was she? Like, what was her? I had a bunch of questions. Like, where was she? Where was her stuff? Where did she think he was for Thanksgiving? Where did she think he was for Valentine's Day? Where did she think he was in the morning? Because what he told me was, his brother car broke down and he would take him to work in the morning and come back to my house. When really he was picking up his wife, taking her home and coming back to my house because she don't drive. But some days he would say, "Oh, my brother working overtime, so I ain't got to go get him this morning." And I felt so bad when she told me, yeah, sometimes he would just leave me there and I would have to ride the bus home or have a coworker take me home. And I felt bad because I knew where he was. And like, I don't know. I think that from talking to her, I think that she knew he was cheating. But from what she told me, I asked her why she stayed. And she said, well, because when people say, "Oh, you should have did this, should have did that," I'm like, what about people like her? She did everything our parents tell us to do. She went to school, got a master's degree. She's well read, well traveled. She very classy. You see what I'm saying? She waited till she was married to him. She gave him her virginity, and he in turn gave her HIV and cheated their whole entire marriage. Like, he a real fuck nigga, like, for real. She said they got married
So,
10 months after they met.
so that's what I was gonna ask. So when did she find out? And basically you saying she found out that she had this virus and stayed with him in the marriage, right?
Mm-hmm. She found out before they got married and still married him. And then, like, according to my timeline, she said they got married 10 months after they met. The ex-fiance actually messaged me. She said, yeah, we was together for 5 years. I said, why did y'all break up? She said she went to get a life insurance physical, and that's how she found out that she had HIV. And this was September 2008. He married his wife in April 2009. So they overlapped. He was planning a wedding with her and then married his wife. I'm like,
This nigga he's a serial dog. What do you call that, man? This is insane, bro. This is
and Bobby, I had
insane.
all the same questions too. Like, I think that she said she really wants to be a mother, and she's very into her religion because her parents, her dad is the bishop of the church and her mom is the first lady. And she was like, nobody gets divorced in my family. And she was like, nobody else is gonna want me anyway. Like, she felt like she was, tainted. You see what I'm saying? She was like, I really want to be a mom. I've done everything that I want to do. And she was like, I might as well just stay with him. I was like, absolutely not. I was like, absolutely not. She hadn't told none of her family because she from Illinois. Nobody knew but Karim. So that was kind of like
Oh, so
her
her parents
support.
didn't know about this? Her parents didn't know she had it?
Outside of Karim, I was the only other person that knew. And when she told me she tested positive in 2009, I threw my whole fucking computer. Like, I was like, what? That's when I found out he knew. Because I ain't started dating him until the beginning of 2013. I said, this bitch ass nigga. Like, oh, I was mad. I was like, then, because when I first messaged her, she didn't get back to me. I had my son. I called Karim when I went into labor. He ignored me, so I called his mama and told her. I go have an emergency C-section. When I get back to my room, oh, when I tell you the community showed up for me once I made that post, I didn't have to buy nothing for my baby. I had so much extra stuff that I just donated it to a battered women's shelter because they had my back wholeheartedly. And that's when I found out about GoFundMe. One of my coworkers started to GoFundMe. I had never heard of that. The employee assistance program we had at work, they give you like money for catastrophic events and things like that. I got money from them. Like, it was hard for me to accept things because I always been a hustler. Like, I always been sufficient. I'm gonna make a way out of no way. And I was like, people, I just had to tell myself people doing it because they care. Because I was like, I gotta owe all these people, and I grinded like I did because I don't want to owe nobody nothing. I don't want to be on the system. I'm not gonna ask for no food stamps or nothing like that. I'm able bodied and I'm gonna go work. So it was hard to accept all that help because of my pride. But um, I'm gonna have
So
to
how
hold
did
my.
y'all get to the let me ask you this.
But
So
yeah,
you end up meeting them?
after I had
Go ahead. Go
after
ahead.
I had my son, uh, Kareem wound up showing up to the room. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? Like, he was like, Sarita, I want to see the baby. I was like, man, get the fuck out my room. Like, I was very hostile. And so he went to the neonatal ICU because he was born 6 weeks early. And so the nurse said, well, you have to make a visitor's list and a password. I put him and his mama on the visitors list. And the password was I am HIV positive 2014. And he was like, Sarita, I gotta say that to go visit my son. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You gonna share some of this shame. Cause I felt shameful at first. I didn't want to go to the pharmacy and get my medicine. Because I'm like, oh, they know what it's for. Like the pharmacy knew me because I've been using that same pharmacy 10 years plus. That's CVS. They know, like, I go there to get my insulin and stuff. The pharmacist, hey, Miss Anderson, and then for them to have to feel that and me have to go in there and look, like,
Yeah,
I
man.
just, I was taking like 2, 3 showers a day trying to rub my fucking skin off. I was like, this bitch ass nigga done touched me while he was touching somebody else. When did I get it? I just would just be in my bed all night. Like, which time was it? When did I get it? What did I miss? There had to be some red flags. I went over our relationship over and over and over and over again. The whole thing from meat to finish. Like, what did I miss? I couldn't find anything. Like, it was wrecking my brain because I felt stupid. I was like, yo, stupid has missed something. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way this nigga got you like this. Like, and I was pissed off. Like, I don't bring niggas around my sons, my kids like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very private. You know, just I have a very small inner circle. And so, like, my kids are precious to me. I know if I bring the wrong influence around them and somebody influenced them wrong or touched them in the wrong way, I'm gonna have to go to jail. So I'm very cautious about. But at that time, I didn't run no background check on Kareem because I knew to work at the hospital and carry that pistol, they had already ran one. So I was only thinking about a criminal background. If I had ran that background check on him, his marriage license would have popped up in the first place. So I fucked up right there. That's where I fucked up at. Cause I assumed like the way we was spending time together and stuff, I never thought of a wife or a girlfriend or anything. I was like, and nobody knew about his wife. Nobody knew he was married. Absolutely nobody.
Well, she don't want to tell nobody. Like you say, she not from here and she got that going on. So, it's easy for her to go undetected.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she
but you don't share your wife with nobody. Every time we went on date night, we would see somebody that knew him, whether it's from school, the boxing thing, basketball. Hey, what's up, Tyson? That was his nickname because of the boxing. And he would be like, oh, this is my girl, Sarita. And some people we ran into, they knew both of us. So, because he went to Elsie, but he graduated from Yates. So some people, we knew some of the same people. And it's like we kept missing each other. It was like 6 degrees of separation. Like, we knew some of the same people. He went to Elsie, I went to Hastings. He worked at that Herman, I worked at this Herman. It was a bunch of times where we could have met, but we did not. So I was like, maybe this is a sign, like he the one I'm supposed to be with, because we keep missing each other, but now we done finally met, bonded. You see what I'm saying? So I was like thinking about you not only fuck me off, you fuck my kids off too, because my son asked my mama, was I gonna die? And she said, I don't think so, but I don't know. And she told him what was wrong with me, and I didn't talk to her for 2 months because I was like, that wasn't for you to tell. And my son at this point knew what HIV was. He had took health class and he knew how you could get it. And he's like, Mama, if I wouldn't have never, remember I told you in the car, he told Kareem, you're a nice guy, you should take my mom out on a date. My son was like, if I never would have said that, you never would have got HIV. That broke my heart. Like, he had to
Yeah.
go to therapy. He had to go to therapy because he really thought that. I said, so you not only affected me, you affected my kids too. And so, like, after I had my son, like, I had everything I needed. But still, as angry as I was with him, and this is before I talked to his wife, because remember, when I messaged her, she messaged me right back. Like, she didn't message me till after my son was born. He was born in July 2015. I didn't talk to her till November. I still gave the nigga a chance. Like, I was like, okay, he went out and cheated and fucked up. Let me try to separate the man from the father. And I laid down some rules. The only time you can see him is if I'm here and you see him at my house. That's it. I'm going to show you how to change Pampers. I'm going to show you how to feed him. I'm going to show you all this stuff because he don't have no kids that we know of. He really didn't know nothing. So I did all that. By this time, my mama done moved in with me. And, now she don't like his ass. And she looking, what that nigga here for? I said, Mama, he here to see Kaden. Fuck all that. Like, I don't want to look at his ass. Like, Mama, just go in your room. She was like, I can still hear him. I don't want to be around that nigga. Like, what if I need some water and I gotta come? She was just making up shit. What if I want some motherfucking water and I gotta come downstairs and look at this motherfucker? I don't want to look at his ass.
Yeah.
She was
Fact.
just come downstairs. You not holding the baby right. You need to tilt his head up. Like, you
Yeah.
got air bubbles in the bottle. Like, she'll make it just fucking with his ass.
So you letting him have a relationship with his son at this time after everything.
This is why he got cut off. I let him
Okay.
take him for 4 hours one day, and he was late because it was only supposed to be 2 hours. That was one thing. I said, okay, no, you can't, because he was like, my family really want to meet him. I said, all right, you got one time. And then, so he fucked that up. I said, you can't take him out no more. I'm at the work. He comes scared to the emergency room. It's cold outside. It's November. My baby ain't got on nothing. I would keep the car seat in my trunk so he wouldn't take him. So he's without a car seat. He's in a onesie. It's cold. He don't have no blanket. He come running in the ER. Man, your mama tried to kill him. I said, what? I called my mama. Why you let him leave with Caden? And what happened? She said my baby had colic, so she was trying to give him Milacon, some gas medicine. Kareem wasn't holding him up like he was supposed to, and my baby started choking. All he had to do was hold him up and pat his back. But instead, he got fly with my mama and said, no, I'm finna take the baby. He pushed my mama. I say, nigga, you done lost your motherfucking mind. I said, give me the baby. I called my supervisor. Hey, I got to go. Kareem up here showing his ass. Because at that time, when I was on medical leave, he got fired. My manager basically did me a solid. She was like, after this situation, I knew y'all couldn't work together no more. And I had to pick somebody. And he done been caught sleeping a couple of times, and I haven't done anything. So that was my reason. I like, damn, she kind of did me a solid. You know what I'm saying? So I tell him, give me the baby. I'll see you in court. He said, for what? I said, I want supervised visitation if you want to see him. You're not coming to my motherfucking house no more. And you lucky I don't do nothing to your ass because you don't push my motherfucking mama. You lucky I got the baby. And I'm at my job. So I'm not finna act no fool. But you done put hands on my mama. Are you fucking crazy? And like, he was like, well, if we go to court, you know I'm gonna win. I said, really? He said, I got a 2-parent household. My wife make $70,000 a year plus my income. You a struggling single mother. I said, I'll kill both you bitches and go to jail before I have to see y'all have my son. I said, I got all the paperwork in the world saying I ain't got it all up here. They gonna send me to a mental institution. I'll go. I was like, so play with me if you want to. I will kill you, your wife, and anybody else. He said, you crazy. I said, and who made me that way? You still can't tell me. You still ain't told me what the fuck happened. But I still allowed you to come see your son, and you fucked that up, nigga. Fuck you. Like, don't call me. Don't do nothing. I blocked his number. So this is November. Right after that incident, his wife gets in touch with me, and that's when I found out he knew, because she tested. The fiance tested positive in September of 2008. The wife in April 2009, and then me September 2014. The messages I told you I had to quit reading because of my heart condition, I went back and read all of them because it was about 300 of them. I sat there in
She
my 8
sent you.
hours of shift.
The wife sent you.
She sent me on Messenger. Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
fiance was sprinkled in there. So I started identifying people. And I just started writing this shit down. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it at the time, but I just started documenting. And I started building that timeline. And I was like, damn, he was planning a wedding with the fiance and then got married and then fucked over the wife. I was like, I couldn't sleep at night because I knew that nigga was breathing. Like, he was on a 3-on-3 basketball at 24-hour fitness. They said, nah, nigga, you can't play ball here no more. They was like, because one of the three dudes was a nurse in the ER where we worked at. Rick was like, nah, nigga,
Yeah.
nah, we can't even. They kicked him up out of there. They ran him up out of there. They was like, you can't even come in here and work out no more, dog. We don't really know her personally like that, but we know the shit is fucked up. So on GP, your ass can't work out here no more. They started, like, everybody started shunning him. And so actually he got fired for going off on the supervisor because the person under the supervisor was my friend. So when he would be off, she would take over. She started treating him funky. Everybody just started looking at him. It wasn't all friendly like it was when he first got there and when we was together. Now the atmosphere done changed and people looking at him like, you know what I'm saying? And he went off on the supervisor like y'all can't be treating me like this. Everybody acting funny and all this kind of shit. Cussed him. I tried to fight him, and that gave my manager all the more reason to fire his ass. So he was gone. So when I came back, he wasn't there. But I didn't know at that time it was PTSD. It was certain places I wouldn't go. Like the ICU where I stayed at for 2 weeks, I couldn't go there. The floor that I stayed on for 2 weeks after that, I couldn't go there. Places I knew we had sex at, I couldn't go to those buildings. Like when I came back, I had to go right back out for mental health reasons. So I wasn't physically sick anymore. I was healing, but mentally I was out of there. Like I was still out of there after being off for 2 months. After having my son and going back to work, it was just too much. Like seeing everything was too much. And they was like, Sarita, you can't be at work crying all shift. Like, and she said, you can't come back to work until you get cleared by a mental health professional. And I couldn't get no clearance. So I was off for another month.
Mm.
And FMLA only give you 60% of your salary. So I'm missing that other 40%. But I had saved the money that I got from everybody contributing from the GoFundMe's, the EAP and all that stuff. So I was okay. But as far as financially, my son was okay. I was sad I couldn't breastfeed him because you can transfer HIV from breastfeeding. So I was very upset about that. And I just looked at him and I was like, man, you a little fighter. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just looked at him because he was a miracle.
Yeah.
I did all this shit while I was pregnant. I smoked cigarettes the whole time. The whole time. When I went into labor, I smoked a cigarette on the way to the emergency room. The whole time. And I believe to this day that's why my son got autism and ADHD. Because I Googled the shit like, what are the effects of cigarettes on pregnant women? behavioral problems, autism.
What about all the medical complications you had though? You don't think that had anything to do with it? Or you don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. But then again, like they say autism is not genetic, but how do you explain on my daddy's side, my son is autistic, my niece got two sons that's autistic and they got two different daddies. My cousin got twin girls that are autistic. So how is all this autism running in a family if it ain't genetic? And then like my niece is a perfect example. She got two different daddies for both her sons and they both got autism. My son is the most high functioning out of all the kids. Like he very, very smart. He just have trouble regulating his emotions. That's what's wrong with him. And he also have Tourette, but it's not really bad. But I've done everything I can to make sure he live as normal life as he can. And so
How'd you
at
get
that
to
time,
go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
I'm jumping around, but yeah, once I found out about his wife and I read all these messages and I started making this timeline, and my ass it went from 4. When I got to 4, you know, when you test HIV positive, the health department come out to see you, and they want to know who you slept with, what's the name of the person that you think gave it to you, and then they go see that person. And so Karim was ducking the lady. Like she said, I can't get in touch with Karim. I said, well, he got a CPR class tomorrow. And she went to the CPR class and he wasn't there. So she was like, I've left notes on his door. I have done everything. He is ducking and dodging me, and now I have to send my supervisor. And so um her
Keep
name was
talking. Y'all gotta stretch real quick. Keep talking. I'm just go ahead.
uh her name was Ebony. So after I found the first 4, I contacted Ebony. I was like, Ebony, uh can you point me in the right direction? I know it's more women. I said, you know, I don't know what I'm about to do with all this information, but whatever you tell me, I'll never tell a soul. And I said, right now I know of 4 women. And she said, it's triple that. More than triple that. I said, triple? She was like, yeah, when you told me his name, I already knew who he was. I said, how? She said, because I done heard it, and my coworkers, his name done came across their desk too. This nigga's like, the more I read, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that was before the news story aired. And I had to vet some of them because there were some people in there just trying to get on the bandwagon, like just trying to get up in the mix. But I verified 12 of them. And between those, and then 2 more came out once the Channel 2 news story aired. 2 more people got tested and they contacted me. And one of them women was married. And her church members contacted me and said, you know, she very depressed. She in a bad way right now. Can you talk to her? And I said, sure, I'll talk to her. And I talked to her, and 8 months later, they messaged me and said she committed suicide. I cried like she was family. I said, this nigga don't give a damn. Like, people was reporting to me, like, yeah, he on Facebook dating. He on Tinder. He over here doing this shit. He out here enjoying himself. I'm like, people around here suffering. Like, and you out here just slinging your nasty dick around. That shit had me pissed off. Like, I'm talking about, it was a bubbling rage. Like, I had told him, yeah, come to the house. You know, I changed my mind, you know, you can see Kaden, let's start over. He comes, I open that door, put that pistol right here. I say, hey, call your mama and tell her about it. He called my mama and put her on speakerphone. And she said, Sarita, don't do it. Don't do it. This was before she moved in with me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let the Lord handle him. I said, the Lord taking too long. I pulled that trigger. Guess what happened? It jammed. I said, at that point, he started running. But after my mama moved in, and while I'm still investigating all this shit, in December, Christmas Eve, he decides, he say he want to come bring my son some presents. I said, don't bring your ass over here. It's dangerous. Don't bring your ass over here.
Yeah,
I
nigga.
warned him. Don't bring your ass over here. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Then I had already heard through the Facebook streets that his brother was talking about doing something to me. And after I heard that, I pulled out my driveway and my car started doing this shit here. I almost ran up on a curve into a tree. It's a Discount Tires, right? Like down the street from my house. They say somebody loosened the bolts on your tires. I said, well, what happens if somebody loosened my bolts? He say, the tire's gonna fly off. And he was like, especially if you driving on it. And he was like, that's what that wobbling was. Like your bolts flying off and your tires wobbling. I said, I'll be damned. I still think that was connected to his brother. Somebody went out there and loosened my motherfucking bolt.
Yeah.
So this is now I'm on high alert because I think somebody's trying to do something to me. So I just got shit stashed around my house, my pistols, my knives, like in case wherever I'm at, if somebody come through that door, they gonna run into a problem. So I told him, don't bring your ass over here. He comes anyway. I don't even let him through the door. I come outside. I call the police, cover my ass. I said he trespassing. He over here. I took a picture of him by my car because he was leaning on it with the presence. I said, all right. I go outside. I said, the police coming. He saw me on the phone. He didn't believe me that I called the police. So he called his brother. Was like, hey, I think she called some of her homeboys. Like, I say, it's dangerous for you and your brother, especially that nigga. It's dangerous for everybody you know. It's dangerous over here. But go ahead. You forgot you on my property. So whatever I do to you, I have a possibility of getting away with because you over here. And I got the text messages that say don't bring your ass over here. And I done already called the police and said you trespassing and I took a picture. My ass is covered. So go ahead and stand there. And then he was like, I don't know why you so mad all the time anyway. It's not like I raped you. You could have told me to use a condom at any time.
This bitch ass nigga, boy.
I go back in the house. I get my pistol. My mama say, Sarita, what you about to do? I said, take out the trash. Came out the gate busting. It worked this time. He got some fragments in his foot, and he got one in his knee. And then he started hobbling off. And I'm just, I could have shot him right in the back of his thumb if I wanted to. Because another thing me and him used to do was go to the range. I like guns. So that would be a fun date for us to go to the range and hit up the taco truck. Like, I'm real simple. I ain't hard to please. You ain't got to do all this extravagant. Let's go to the range, relieve some stress, go to the taco truck. So he knew that very well that I'm a sharpshooter. So that's why his ass was running for his life. I just wanted to see him dance though. Like I ain't even try to hit him. Like I told him, next time you come, I ain't gonna miss. I missed on purpose. Next time you come over here, cause I know like if I would have shot him in the back of the head, then I would have went to jail. Cause then they would have said, nah, it's not self-defense. You shot him in the back. So I knew to miss him on purpose. But I knew I did something to him. He ain't bring his ass back over there. So I said, you want to continue on with the fuckery? Let's go with the fuckery, man. Like, you not about to come see Kaden. No. And so, like, this was in 2015. I told one of the police officers at work what I did. And he was like, nah, you can't be doing that shit. He was like, you gonna go to jail. He was like, he's the one that told me, it's a crime to intentionally infect somebody with HIV. I didn't know that. I said, well, how do I prove intent? And he was like, man, you gotta get creative. So I hit up Miss Ebony again. I hit up. I looked at all the women I had. And he had his wife. That poor lady was thoroughly mind fucked. Like, her loyalty to him, it pissed me off more because I'm like, this lady married you after you infected her with a deadly disease and she chose to ride out life with you and she's loyal and you go fuck over her the whole marriage. And I'm like, you a special type of evil, man. Like, she very docile. She not like me. At first, she didn't talk to me really because I came at her like this. And I'm like, man, let me soften myself. I'm going to have to handle her with kid gloves if I want the information. So I came at her a different way. And she started to talk to me. And after a week, that's when she told me, I have it too. She told me the whole story behind that. I was more mad for her at that time than I was for myself. Because I'm like, she living in there with that fucking terrorist every day. And she said, I refuse to sleep with him anymore because he wouldn't take his medication. I said, so have you ever seen him take medication? She said, I'm talking about my blood was boiling. And she was like, don't tell him that we talk. I'm not gonna tell him. I said, oh, you good. Like, and I said, you know what? She wants to talk to me because she don't have nobody else to talk about it. She been holding this shit in the whole time. Because mind you, she haven't told nobody. I said, you need to tell your parents. Like, you need to tell your sister. I said, you leaning on Karim to be your support system when he's the one that broke you. You leaning on him to fix you when he's the one that broke you. He can't do both. You need somebody. So she finally told her mom and her sister. And they was like, you can come home. They was like, we ain't really like him like that anyway. Like, we just was cordial and we tolerated him because that's your husband. But shit, file for divorce, you can come home. And mind you, she's a victims liaison at HPD. So when I filed my case, and then while it was being investigated, I did the interview with Channel 2. So I emailed Channel 2, 11, and 13. 11 didn't want to do it because it was still under investigation. But Channel 2, they was like, hey, give us 1 day to vet this, and then we'll get back to you. They said, hey, we want to run your story. They came to my house, set up everything. They had to hold it until he was arrested. They wanted a statement from HPD, and then they ran it. Well, people started putting 2 and 2 together, and people stopped talking to her at work in HPD. Like she did something wrong. When I put that post up on Facebook, people started harassing her on Facebook to the point that she had to deactivate her account, telling her, why didn't she tell somebody? It's her fault too. I was like, this ain't right. Like, she wound up becoming collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know. She was like, I'm not sorry. She was like, I'm glad you said something. And she wound up, people don't know, she wound up being a witness in my case. Because she had records that said she had put him on her insurance and he never went to the doctor. And she released her medical records to HPD. I released mine. I released my phone records too. And got my doctors to write statements. And so I did all the legwork for them by the time I filed the case. So she was a witness inside my case that was like, could back up what I was saying.
And he ain't
And
knowing
so,
y'all building this case on him this whole time behind closed doors.
nah. And I'm
Right.
also, the more life I get in myself, I'm passing half of it on to her. Like, go tell your peoples, you got me. Like, you got me in your life. Like, fuck that nigga. Like, you saving his life. Like, I'm not gonna kill him. But I was like, we not having this no more. Right? What he doing is basically torture to you at this point. Like, I feel like you disconnected emotionally. I was like, you're a beautiful, wonderful person. Anybody would be glad to have you, HIV or not. I was like, this is not right. I was like, she had low self-esteem. I was like, what you got low self-esteem for? You did everything like you were supposed to, and you just unfortunately ran into a sociopath. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. And still, after he was fucking off, she still didn't sleep with she didn't cheat on him. So, and then, like, when he got arrested, his family started harassing her. I went to the DA. I said, ain't this witness tampering? You gonna do something? They keep fucking with. I cuss his mama out and everything. Like, bitch, you raising fucking tyrants like over there. What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, leave her alone. And so, I cussed her out.
Not to cut you off, so I'm just asking you something. So she didn't know that he was cheating. So it wasn't like for her to go out and tell people, watch out for this man because this is her husband and she's staying with him, even though he
She
gave
knew,
her the virus. Or she knew he was going out cheating.
but she didn't know to the extent
See,
because
that's where it get a
when
little
she
tricky when people getting on a little bit. It's like now, if he going out cheating and stuff, and he got this virus, you
What's
gotta
she gonna say?
shit.
She very like docile and shy and stuff. She's like a bookworm. So she
Okay.
would never put herself out to put him out. She not gonna be vocal like that on Facebook. All her posts was like family oriented and stuff. Now she had pictures of him and her family on her Facebook, but wasn't none of that on his Facebook. I was on there, so I don't know. I don't know if he had two different pages, because the one I knew about, I was on there, and he was on my page. And
It didn't go dead, did it? Because she still got a chart. Her phone's still connected, right?
Yeah, I still see. Yeah, she's still connected.
what happened? Yeah,
It's like you opened up another one. But I mean, is that out
yeah.
beastly? There you
I
go.
don't know what happened, but yeah. But she told her mama, she told her sister, she she stood up to people that was trying to bully her at work. She was like, I told her I was so sorry. She was like, I'm not. She was like, the people that was really my friends, they'll still be my friend after all this. And like she started standing up for herself. She changed her phone number. She got all his stuff together and put it outside. I said, you need to move out that house. I say ain't no good juju up in that house. It's all I said. You need to get rid of that bed. My who knows who ass been on that bed. My ass been on that bed. You need to get your whole own spot. Like you make enough money to get you a nice spot. A nice spot. She did that. She filed for divorce while he was incarcerated. And boy, I would like to see the expression on his face when, because if the prosecution have a witness, they have to tell the defense. When he found out his way, I would like to see the look on his face when he found that out. I do. He did not see that coming.
Oh,
That was
you
that
weren't
was.
you wasn't in the courtroom when he found that out? You weren't there?
No, they do that. They do that while they in the county when they had the meetings with their lawyers and stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
the DA knew it was a high profile case. So
Let me ask you this. Did she take the stand?
nah, he took a plea deal.
Okay. Okay.
The DA, I told the DA, I was like, what would happen if I go visit him? She said, that ain't no good idea. I was like, I don't even want to talk to him. I just want to see him in that orange jumpsuit. And she was like, no, if it make you feel any better, he in protective custody. I said, why? My partner told me, hey, we watch channel 13 in the morning and channel 2 at night. He said, my guess is they was watching the news and saw that nigga on the news and waited till
Yeah.
everybody wrapped up. And they said he called it a blanket party where they just snatch your ass up and throw a blanket over you and multiple niggas just start beating you up. Like, and so he was like, that's probably why they put him in protective custody, because it's a high profile case. I said,
So
okay.
hold on.
And then
Our people probably not don't know. He took a plea deal for what? How much time?
30 years. People were asking me, well, did he ever admit what he did? I said, would you sign your life away for 30 years if you was innocent? That's an admission of guilt to me. Because he could have took it to trial, because he got charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon causing serious bodily injury. Because he was first caught just
So that's what I was about to say. So it don't say in his paperwork that he has this virus. It don't say
no,
that in his. Okay.
no.
Okay.
So if somebody look at it, it could be a bunch of things, like he got in a bar fight and beat some. Yeah, so yeah, it won't say that. But they first charged him with aggravated assault, and his bond was $10,000. His wife told me his mama and his uncle gonna pay his bond, and I said, no, they not on my watch. So I said, you know the uncle number? She said, yeah. I called that man. I said, before you help get him out, let me tell you what happened. I tell him all this. He happened to be a paralegal. He said, if all the things you say check out, I can't support that. He was like, I have daughters. That's not the nephew I know. But if he did this stuff, he said, nah, I can't support him. He must have found what he was looking for, because he did not put a dime And the judge wound up saying, nah, it's not severe enough. We're going to raise this to a first-degree felony. It's going to be aggravated assault with a deadly weapon causing serious bodily injury. And his bond went up to $30,000, which I still don't think is enough. And his mama couldn't pay that. And that's when his brother started getting vocal on Facebook because I blocked his bond. I was like, y'all don't need to let him back loose because he ain't gonna show up to trial. So now we need to keep him in there. And so they went and did a jailhouse interview after Channel 2 did it. This nigga said he didn't know he had HIV until after my son was born. He called the doctor's office and they didn't give him no results. And then he said, this make him look like the worst person in the world, but he's not. It was like breaking news, 5 o'clock news on Channel 2. I said, I didn't even know they was doing it. Somebody said, hey, Sarita, they did the jailhouse interview with Kareem. So I go, look. They tore his ass up on Twitter with that statement, this make me look like the worst person in the world. Twitter, Facebook, all they was frying his ass. I didn't have to say nothing. I was like, he really disconnected like that. And I'm like, I just couldn't understand the logic behind that. And so with that charge, he could have got 5 to 99. Fuck it. Like, let's take it to trial. But he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. His first plea deal was 45 years. He said no. He never did say that he didn't do it. He just was trying to fight for the minimal amount of time. So the DA come to me and said, would you be okay with us offering him 30 years? They said, if you're not, we'll take it to trial. But I said, I'm only agreeing because of his wife. I don't want her to take the stand. She's not as strong as I am. I don't want her to have to look at him, have to see his family out there and stuff. I said 30 years is long enough for me to raise my son in peace, and he gonna be a grown man by the time Kareem get out. So, yeah. And he signed a plea for 30 years. When you sign a plea, you can't file no appeals. And because it's an aggravated case, he got to serve 75%. So he been in there with time served, credit for time served. Now he done been in 10 years. So I
And
don't
what he
talk to
been
that.
doing these 10 years? What he been doing in there? Have you heard anything he been doing? What he been up to in there with his nasty ass?
Oh, he doing the same shit with the guard.
Right.
Uh,
Ass nigga.
lying by this case. He not telling the truth in there. He might tell them because they gonna ask you, hey, what you in for? Aggravated assault. Oh, for real? Like, yeah.
Because it ain't in his paperwork, right? B, that ain't, I'm assuming so. They were saying he
It's
might look
not
like
public.
he might look
It's
like
not public. It's
it's
in
not
his paperwork. It's in
I'm
his
saying it's in his
paperwork.
paperwork he got HIV.
It's in the prison paperwork, but it's not public record. His charge and where he at and his birthday and all that, that's public record.
Okay.
But not the fact that he got HIV. I have never read the court transcripts, but if you go on Harris County District Clerk website, it's free to look up any case. You can look up the dates, you can look up the charges. It's free.
So if somebody
So
just happened to read up the details of the case, then they'll see what his deadly weapon really is. Right? Right.
it's probably in the court transcripts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he ended up
So,
somebody
I
one of
didn't
the
hear, my bad. I was cutting you off, my bad. Did you say he messing with a correction officer? Or tried to or something?
one just got fired.
Damn.
She just got fired. I just got told that 2 weeks ago.
For fucking with him.
Yep.
That's a cold brother, that man.
Man, I'm
And
telling
then
you,
I love him.
He turned my life upside down, and I started like feeling stupid because I didn't see no red flags, and I still couldn't see him after I turned the shit all which ways, and I was like, started thinking like he fooled at least 14 women. I said he fooled the community. He fooled coworkers. He
Yeah,
fooled
you ain't the
everybody.
only one. Yeah.
I'm like, so is everybody stupid? Nah, we ain't. And then I started looking at all the women. I said, he got a type. Because if I was a hoe, right, and I was like, and I just was like, he put his charm on me or whatever, and I went for that shit, he wouldn't fuck with me hard like that. So all of us is like, my skin tone may be a little lighter. We all curvy. We all got our own shit. We all got stuff going for ourselves, or we already accept success. All of us, all different type of professions, everybody. So I'm like, he like a fucking agent of chaos. Like, you just going into people's lives. But see, me, the ex-fiance, and the wife, we the only 3 out the 14 that I know of that had relationships with him. The other ones was kind of like, casual. So I was like, why did he choose me to do this to? Like, what about the
Thinking
other
about
ones?
this,
Like, I'm
I'm
like,
thinking
what
about
about
this
the other
correction
women?
officer,
Right?
man. She gotta know, like, people in the jailhouse, like they gotta be. She gotta know, man. Ain't
Well,
no
Los, you
way.
No,
got to think about this, Los. They
no,
work at least 12-hour shifts. So
Okay.
they gain their feelings for these people. Then, man, like you say, the man is creative. Like, he know what he doing. He know how to charm. You know how to turn them
no.
on,
What they
off.
tell us in training is they don't tell us what the inmates are in for because they don't want to create a bias. So they
Mm,
don't tell the corrections officers why they in there. If they tell
okay.
you why they in there, some of them tell the truth, some of them don't. It's a way to figure out what they in there for. Like, if we got to take an inmate to the hospital or a doctor's appointment and stuff, they got something called a travel card. So you got to take his whole little file with you. So you go to looking in that file and see them charges. Like the
Hold on, I
dude,
got
like the
another
dude.
question. What about the medicine? He got to take medication, right?
He might not
If he
take it.
want to, if he want to. But
Damn.
when they call it the pill line. So you go up to a window, you show him they show them his ID, and they give him his medicine. He can say, I'm taking blood pressure medicine. I'm taking medicine for whatever kind of condition he want to come up with. Some of them niggas don't know what the fuck that medicine, what the name is and all that.
Yeah, they're
They
not
put
getting
it
no
in a
bottle,
they put
Los.
it in a little medicine cup,
Yeah.
give it to you, give you a little drink of water, and you go ahead and go on. They don't be like, this is your HIV medicine, this your blood pressure medicine. They just give it to you and go to fuck on. So he can tell them, I got high blood pressure. Right? It running my family. He can tell them whatever they want to. Unless somebody is ways for people to find out. Because when I quit TDC, a couple of inmates reached out through their family. They say, "Hey, this lady name," because if like if an inmate have a problem with an officer, they can file something called a grievance, and on the grievance it have our first and last name. Cause I
It
I,
used
I
to be the
tagged it.
social on there too. They used to have access at our social too. When I was working TDC, they have access at your social. You just walk the pod, they'll just
Not
scream out
they
your
have
whole
they
shit.
have access they have access to our application to TDC. They block out the social and and the address. But a lawyer, this inmate told me one time, "Hey, Ms. A, you see my window? We can see into the parking lot on the right block." He was like, "We get y'all license plate number and give it to our lawyers. The lawyers can then run a background check on you." He said, "It's one way in this motherfucker and one way out." He said, If we really wanted to do something, we'll send a nigga to follow you for about 3 weeks. See your routine, see what you doing and stuff. That fourth week, nigga gonna be under your bed when you get home." I
Mm,
said, "Damn." He was like, "You have at least 2 to 3 routes how you get home and come to work and change them every day." I
damn.
still do that to this day. I don't take the same routes. I still do that to this day because it's just a habit. It's stuff I learned at TDC that I still to do. Like, I gotta have my back against the wall. I don't like nobody sitting behind me. I don't want nobody behind me. If I go to the courthouse or something, it's a line. I gotta stand sideways. I gotta stand to the side like this. If I'm at the grocery store, I'm standing to the side like this with my basket in front of me. I need to see what's going on. If I'm in a room, I'm in a area where my back is solid and I can see everything. I still go place. If I go somewhere, I need to know where the exits are in case some shit pop off. I need to know where I'm gonna exit up out this shit. Like, those are things that's ingrained in my mind. So,
Let me ask you this.
huh?
Like you kept mentioning throughout when you were talking, I can't think of the name of it, but it seemed like it was a documentary, movie done because you said in the movie they did this, so they did that. What's no?
It wasn't
Nah,
a
go ahead.
documentary. It's a show on the ID channel, Investigation Discovery, called Evil Lives Here. And I was on season 12, episode 3. But they got the
How did
gist
that come
of.
about? Did they? Yeah, them because did they get your? Did they get full intel from you or your side, or they just got bits and pieces and put it together? Were you fully part of making that? Like, cause I hear you kind of disagree with some of the things that they displayed,
I
if I'm
shot
not
there for
mistaken.
I shot there for 2 days. They got to take 2 days worth of footage and cram it into 45 minutes. Of course, it's a show, so it got to have some dramatics. So they have me sitting there telling the story, and then they have actors reenacting what I'm saying. They got the gist of the story across. Yeah, he infected me on purpose, but they left out a lot of important details that I think should have been put in there. Because if I wasn't me and I was somebody else looking at that, I would have so many questions. Like what? And then they told it out of order. And so when it's out of order and then you leaving out important information, it don't come off the right way. Yeah, you told a story about how I was wronged, but I didn't expect them to tell everything because, like I said, we shot 2 days for 8 hours, and they picked what they wanted to put in there. So that's why I went on YouTube and did a story time with a YouTuber, so I could, and I did a live with him. It was 300 people in there, and I answered a lot of questions that people had about that show, and it was the questions I would have had, like. What? Like when I said on there, I never met none of his family, and then fast forward to it say I called his mama and told her everything. I would have been like, but you just said you ain't meet none of his family. How the fuck you call his mama? Like,
Right,
it just left
right,
things open. So I did it to try to correct think questions or information. It's a couple of YouTubers that just ran with the shit. If I was aware of it, I would go watch it. And if it was any misinformation, I'm jumping in the comments. I'm very active when somebody doing something surrounding my name because I advocate for real. I don't take no picture. I take pictures, but I don't post them on Facebook. I'm not screenshotting and sharing many people around the world. I didn't know Evil Lives Here was national. So I get messages from Africa, from everywhere. And I don't share none of that shit on Facebook because these people sought me out and sought to send me a message or look for guidance or tell me their story. And that's just disrespectful, like to try to. I ain't never do this for no 15 minutes of fame. I ain't even know it was gonna go this far. I didn't do this for no good look. I strictly did it to expose that man and to bring awareness to stuff that black people in our community are no longer talking about. And then like I didn't set out to be on a path to advocate. But when I seen so many people uninformed and people wasn't getting tested and stuff, I'm like, wow, y'all really I thought about my past, like I could have got caught a couple times because people be like, that's why I'm abstinent or I strap up every time. You lying. You ain't strapped up every time. You
you
ain't strapped up
lying.
every single time. Especially
Yeah,
if you in a relationship. Maybe if you out there just fucking, that's your choice. Hey, if it's two consenting adults and y'all want to fuck, having one night stand, that ain't my business. I don't look down on nobody how they live their life. If you ain't hurting nobody, fuck it. But you ain't strapping up every time, especially when you in a relationship. Things get heated, y'all go at it one, two, three, whatever time. You ain't strapped up every time. Stop it. And then people think the first time you sleep with somebody, you get HIV, and that's not true. You can catch it the first time or the 20th time. But if you keep sleeping with a person that's not on medication, you're gonna get it at some point in time. That's another quick question people ask me. Did you get sick right off the top? I was like, no, I didn't get sick right off top. But at some point I got infected. Another thing, people think HIV lies dormant and then some kind of way later on is activated. That's absolutely not true. Now, what you can get is a false negative. Like if you have sex with somebody with HIV and you catch it today, it ain't gonna show up tomorrow. You gotta wait like 2 or 3 weeks. That's why they tell you test in a month, test 3 months, and then test that final test in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they tell you to do it that way, because it's not gonna show up the next day. That's what you call a false negative. It's not that it's dormant, it's just not detectable yet. It's still replicating in your body. A lot of people don't know about PrEP, PrEP. PrEP is, so I'm positive if I'm dating somebody that's negative, they can take PrEP, which protects them from getting HIV. It's 1 pill every day. Or now, if you got insurance, they done got fancy, you can take 4 shots a year and you good. And then like the point of the medication is to make you undetectable. I've been undetectable for years. When you undetectable, it don't mean that you're cured or you're negative. It just means that it's so little of the virus in your body that it can't be measured by any test. And once you get undetectable, you cannot transmit the virus to anybody else. That's why I do not understand why Kareem just did not take his medicine. By law, he doesn't have to disclose his status. He don't have to. But what he do have to do is take precautions to protect other people from him. You see what I'm saying? It's not a crime. It's not a crime to infect somebody. If I didn't know I had HIV and I infected somebody, there's no record of me having tested positive nowhere. That's not a crime. It's fucked up, but it ain't a crime. The crime is when you know and you intentionally going around doing it to people. That's the crime. But it's so, medicine is so much advanced. You ain't got to do that. Like, if you ashamed to tell somebody, but you still want to fuck them, yeah, you should tell them. Morally, that's wrong. But all you gotta do is take your motherfucking medicine. You ain't got to do all that. And then they even got like a HIV Plan B pill. It's called PEP, PEP. You got 72 hours to take that pill, and you take it for 28 days. Even if you get infected, it basically extinguishes HIV. They give it out at hospitals. The PrEP, the PrEP, they give that out at hospitals. Is it PrEP? No, they give the PEP. If you got like a needle stick or something and you're not sure if that patient, they give you like a cocktail, and that is one of the pills that they give you. But it's available to the public. People think they can't afford it. You can go to Planned Parenthood and get it. There's so many organizations. They got something called a Ryan White Act, where, like me, I don't pay nothing for my medication. Absolutely nothing. I don't pay nothing yearly. I don't pay at all. My shit is free. And I got the latest, I got the top-notch medicine. It's not multiple pills. It got three medicines in there, and it's 1 pill once a day, no side effects. My HIV doesn't bother me at all. It's my diabetes that's wreaking havoc on my body, but HIV don't bother me at all. And then when I advocate, people be like, "Oh, you don't even look like you have HIV." And I ask them what I'm supposed to look like. And I'm like, they be like, damn,
Oh,
damn, that's
Castle
fucked up.
over
You
there, they
so
love it. I might go ahead.
people be like, damn, that's fucked up because you so pretty. And I'm like, I just think I look like me. I don't know pretty or not, but I'm like, so if you thought I was ugly, would it be less fucked up? Like, we ain't gonna sit here and act like that don't play a part. Because people ask me all kind of shit like, do I have sex? How do I date? I said, the same way you should, safely. Like, that's the same way you should be doing safely. But no, I've been undetectable for years, and there's so many precautions out there. And then, like I said, even the morning after shit, because when you get infected, HIV invades your immune system, and what it's doing is taking over. And so if you don't have no immune system, it destroying your white blood cells, and you can't fight off nothing. That's why I got all that shit, because I couldn't fight off nothing. And it just replicates all through your cells. That's why you get a fever. A fever is a sign of infection, because your white blood cells ramp up trying to get rid of that foreign thing, whatever it is, and it causes your temperature to go up. So the PrEP and the PEP does is stops the replication. If it can't replicate in your immune system, it just dies. So that's what the purpose of it is. I personally think they got a cure for HIV, because, but We ain't in that class of people. 1% of America is rich. They got
They ain't
access
gonna
to it.
put out mess up that money though too that they making off that medicine. Go ahead, B. What you was
Right.
gonna say? What you was gonna ask me, B?
Don't let me get on my soapbox about big pharma. If my medication costs $4,000 a month and I'm just one person and millions of people got HIV, you think they're gonna give us the cure?
Right.
No.
Right. Go ahead, B.
We're coming together with some of the other ladies and kind of getting that plan together to prove that, what he was doing was intentionally. How was that bond with some of them, like the ex-wife? When y'all going through that together, did that build a bond, like an everlasting bond with anybody that you still kind of relate to today? Not even if it's every day, but just every now and then that y'all still just communicate from time to time?
It's only 3 of them out of the 14 that I know of. I started a prayer circle because some of them hadn't even told Karim, but because they didn't want to face him, and then they was embarrassed or whatever. So some of them hadn't even told Karim, but they told me, and I was like, these women hurting just like me, and I'm like, we all got a common enemy, and I've just started a prayer circle where I knew everybody's name, but they didn't know each other's names, and it was just like a safe space where if you want to cry, you can cry about it. If you was depressed, you could talk about it. Like, we all had the same things in common. And so it was 2 married women. The one I told you committed suicide, there was another one. She was a nurse. She tested positive. She told her husband. He was negative, and they got divorced. So that was 2 more families destroyed. Like I said, I told you all the shit that happened with me. The ex-fiance he was with for 5 years planning their wedding out, and all of a sudden her world come crashing down with a physical. His wife fucked her all up in the head. Nobody wanted to tell. Like, nobody wanted to tell the police. Nobody wanted to testify. Nobody. I was like, let's get him together. Like, let's put this nigga up for life. Let's send his ass up the river. Like, nope. They was like, so when I went in there, my intention was to get this motherfucking ass off the street. But it changed once I seen nobody wanted to cooperate. I said, you know what? I gotta stand for all of us. This just ain't about me no more. I gotta stand for all of us. And when I went to the sentencing was a shit show. I go, Channel 2 was there because they did the original story in 2016. Then they did a follow-up in 2018. They was at the courthouse, and I gave a statement before and after the sentence. And so his mama and his brother was down the hall. She just want to be famous. She just looking for attention. His mama sat up there and lied for him and wrote a letter to the judge. She didn't think I saw it, but like I said, the case is public record. I'm looking to see if there's set offs, what's going on, because the DA would sometimes duck my emails. So on the Harris County District Clerk office, I could see all that. So I'm like, this bitch sit up here, and come to find out she was the only one in the family that knew that he had it. Because his brother wanted to get at me because he thought I gave it to him. When his mama knew that wasn't true. That's why when I called her, she asked me, have you talked to his wife?
Because she knew
he
the
told
whole
his
time.
mama. She knew the
Yeah.
whole time. And she came, he went to her and said, Mom, I messed up. Like, I cheated on Jen and now I got this virus. So she knew because he told her. But
He probably
she
cheated on
found
him
out,
with a whole nigga with his. Let me chill.
yeah,
Go ahead.
like the
Go ahead.
ex-fiance, she went to her salon, she owned a salon and showed her ass. Like, I'm like, this lady done been in your life for 5 years. You go showing your ass, talking about some HIV, just to, I don't know why she did that. Like, because remember I told you they was overlapping.
Right.
So she assumed that the ex-fiance gave it to him, and then Karim stepped out and gave it to his wife. So she didn't know which one of them was to blame, the ex-fiance or this imaginary chick that he cheated with. So she went at her. And I was like, She did the same shit at the courthouse. Like, she saying shit all in there, and she won't let me see my grandbaby. Look how you conducting yourself. Your whole damn family crazy. Then it was him. It was his mama, his brother, her mama. That lady was on an oxygen tank, on a walker. Like, why y'all bring that lady out like this? So we go sit in the courtroom. It's me, my dad, and two of the other women that he infected. And I still talk to them to this day. Not every day, but every once in a while, you know. And his mama and his brother and his mama sat behind us. I said, my daddy put his hand on my knee and was like, Sarita, let's go out with some class. Because when I get angry or nervous, I start tapping my foot. And I was like, because she kept saying, and she won't let me see my grandbaby, and all this is for attention. It didn't have to be all this way, just talking. I was like, I couldn't take it no more. I said, Sandra, you could have called me and said this. Why is you in this courtroom showing your ass? I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got one finna go up for 30 years. You got a crash dummy sitting next to you, and your mama in here looking like she about to die. He gonna stand up talking about, bitch, what you say? I stood up to him and like, nigga, you ain't P either. Like, how do you think I found out what your plans was? G's moving silence, and I can see you like to run your mouth. You doing all that shit while these constables in here. You seen me when I came in, and you gonna see me when I leave. I ain't hard to find. You acting like I'm hiding or something. I'm not hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get in my face while we in the courtroom while the police around. They
Right.
threw us out. They let her come back in, but they said them on one side and us on one side, and I was fine with that. Then I got up on the witness stand, and I told him by how all the lives he affected, how somebody commits suicide, how my son had to go to therapy. I'm like, you out here ruining lives with total disregard. Somebody died. Like I said, I hope you sit in there and think about what you did. I said, and the worst part of it is you ain't gonna get to enjoy our son. I said, he's wonderful. He is a light in my life, and you not gonna get to enjoy that. And I got off the stand. His grandma's son, oh Lord, she's sliding down the pew. Her wig done went off to the side. If you look at the news story, you'll see me doing this and like this. That was his mama was sliding down there by the court benches, and the judge say, "Do we need to call help?" His mama was like, "No, no, she just upset." It reminded me of when James Brown used to act a fool, and they used to come put that thing on him. That's what she was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daddy said, I looked up at her. It was a shit show. But he sat up there, he was like he was trying to think. I was like, knock it off. Like, people are like, do he know where he got it? I said, I don't know. If he know, he ain't saying. He ain't never explained nothing to me. He just be like, I don't know what happened. But people ask me, well, what was going on with y'all was together? I was like, well, I would first say, oh, he wasn't a bad boyfriend, but I stopped saying that because I'm like, when you look at the grand scheme of things, if I say he wasn't a bad boyfriend, and then I say, aside from the fact that he was trying to kill me with his dick,
Right.
that don't make sense. So I just was
Yeah.
like, well, he didn't treat
Yeah.
me badly. That's what I'll say. I wasn't
Yeah.
treated badly.
Yeah.
My kids wasn't treated badly. So yeah, he up in there still up to his old shit. He ain't gonna learn.
What you got, B?
Hmm?
Nah, I was asking B, did he have something? Nah, I was gonna say, so let me ask you this. Uh your kids, you were saying something about he's a wonderful kid, his son, who he doesn't get to have a chance to help raise or whatnot. What are all your kids up to now?
Well, KM, like I said, he got autism, but he in the STEM program at school. He's a math genius. Like everything, I think it's because of his autism. Everything is numbers to him. He figure out life with numbers. Like he know anything from addition to percentages, and he do it all in his head because he don't like to write. He memorized a lot of things, and he got photographic memory because he don't like to write. So he very funny because he don't understand sarcasm. So everything is like black and white to him. And sometimes he say the funniest things and ask the funniest questions. Like it's just funny. Like and I have to watch him because he real crafty too. Like he if he can get away with it, he gonna get away with it. Like I taught him we got a little gas station down the street with the the big gas stations with the little taco things in there and all that. I taught him how to leave out and properly cross the street like we did drills because I try to let him do things that the other kids do. I don't try to make him feel different. And so I said, okay, you ready to go to the store by yourself? I say, what you trying to go get? Some Skittles. How much they cost? $2.99. I tell him, what's the tax on it? 8.25%. I say, what that equal? 324. Say, you got enough money to get some Skittles? Yes, ma'am. I say, you got 5 to 7 minutes to go across that street and come back home, or you can't go no more. And the people over there, I be buying my cigarettes out of there, so they know who he is. But see, what he done started doing now is he'll go, cause I told him, he'll open the door for me if I go in somewhere. I said, you supposed to treat all women like that. So what he done start doing is he sees some women coming, he'll go open the door. Hello, how you doing? My name is Katie, and my mama said I'm supposed to open the door for the ladies. And they always be like, oh, go get you some. Like, I said, stop doing
Yeah.
that. All you got to do
Yeah.
is open the door. Don't say nothing. Like, he be doing,
Yeah.
he be doing
That's all
that.
right.
What he
Yeah.
doing is
But
your
my,
combo, man.
Yeah.
huh? my
So
oldest
he
son,
got a combo.
my oldest son with Marquis, he in the Army. And he live in Kansas and he married. Uh, my daughter go to LSU. So they turned out all right.
Man, they all doing their thing, man. Yeah. That's all right there. That's all right, man.
The
Yeah.
the the
Yeah.
the, the come up was epic. I still like my daughter is the brains of the family. She's the nurturer. She's the brains. She done. I kept her, but there was times where she had to keep me. You know what I'm saying? Like she's very level headed. Like she don't get too. My son is the crash out. That oldest one, he's the family crash out. My daughter not about to crash out about that. She not.
Yeah.
She's so like zen and stuff. Like you'll be mad and shit, hyped up, and she'll just be sitting there like, "Why are you mad?" And then I'll start feeling stupid. Like, why am I mad? Like, she'll just be sitting there like, don't give anybody
That's
any
dope.
negative energy. Like, why are you mad?
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's dope.
my baby got scholarships to everywhere she applied to. LSU, Texas State, UT, Michigan. What's Roll Tide?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, she
Yep.
got accepted there too. She was gonna
Yeah.
go to UT, but they was trying to send her to Arlington first and then transfer her to Austin because they ain't have enough housing. And she was like, I don't want to do that because I'm gonna miss a year of traveling. Because she can shadow athletic trainers, but she cannot be one until she becomes licensed. But she can shadow them. So they told her she could pick one sport and she picks football. Cause what she did, she went to Stafford High School and she started doing athletic training in her sophomore year. Her senior year, she became captain. She was graduated in the top 10 percentile in high school and at HTC. She was cum laude at both schools. So she graduated from a dual credit program where she graduated with an associate in multidisciplinary studies, and then she graduated with her high school diploma. So she got a scholarship to all the schools. So she chose LSU, and she's a kinesiology major with a concentration in athletic training. And she started as a junior because she got that associate's degree, and then her master's degree will be athletic training. And then after that, that's when she'll be able to be one. So I work at Methodist, so they really big. Their specialties is orthopedics and cardiovascular things, and they take care of the Astros and the Texans. The Rockets went to Herman, but they have a rehab facility and stuff. Yeah, when she get through, I'm gonna shake some bushes for her. Hey, you want an internship? I'm gonna shake some. I'm gonna
Yeah.
shake some bushes. My baby
Yeah.
gonna be on the sideline somewhere. She too smart and too got too much going for herself to not stand out. So if
Yeah.
mama can help, she gonna help. I'm gonna show you some bushes around that bitch.
Yeah,
But
nah,
yeah, I'm so proud of all of them. She made the dean's list last semester.
yeah,
I'm proud of both of them. All of them. Even
yeah.
my son with autism, you know, he still have his own personality. He look exactly like Kareem, but he built like him. His whole face is Kareem. And I can acknowledge that he looked like Kareem, but to me he's just my son. Like, you have some mothers that hate their kids because they look like their daddy, and I don't understand that. Like, them kids
And
ain't
I
do
commend you for that, especially what you went through with his daddy. You know what I'm
nothing.
saying? So it ain't got nothing to do with little man. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a beautiful thing that you ain't gotta worry he ain't gotta worry about that. His mama still gonna love him unconditionally regardless. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yep.
got, yeah, three beautiful blessings, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you got to point that out for sure. For sure. That might be a good way to end it. What y'all think? What you got anything, B? What's up?
No, 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 no. I'm good.
Okay, okay. What you think, Rita? You all right, sis? I just want to say, ain't nothing but love from the bottom of
I
my
do.
heart. You know what I'm saying? Dying since day one. You know what I'm saying? We been behind you, nothing but support on this end. Gonna continue to love you. Ain't nothing changed. Anything you need from this end, tap in. Love you. We signing out. Opinion
Thank you. Love
Pod,
y'all.
for sure, for sure. Opinions Podcast, foes. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Another great one, man. We out. Yes, sir.
All right.
For
Right.
sure.
Yep. All right, fam. In a minute.